6, 5. I'm doing a live countdown, guys. 4, 3,
Three,
2,
two, one.
1. All right, we are live. Hey,
Um,
we're trying something new. We're
so,
trying a live countdown so you guys don't feel ambushed.
so
Welcome
yeah,
to our live
the
stream.
ambush. To
The
the ambush.
ambush stream. See, this is not an ambush stream because we actually have a countdown. And unlike other people, it's a live countdown, right? We're doing a live one. Today we're going to have a lot of fun, guys. We're talking prices and everything. And as people check in, hey everyone, Richard, I see you, Sony Pony, and Scott
Hi, Richard. How are you?
Coakley is here. Be the Installers dropping by before he has to run off and coach a little 7-on-7 football. Hey, Sean Paul. And what we want to do is, well, first, let me know if audio is good for both Brian and myself. Hey, Clayton, we see you. And what we're going to talk about today is obviously the topic of micro LED. It appears to be dropping in price. Well, specifically, TCL has released their massive micro LED, and it's almost half the price of the Samsung. And I'll explain how that works. But I wanted to share this poll. Brian, have you seen this poll? I just threw this out there real quick.
I did. You did sneak it to me. I think this is a
Yeah.
fantastic topic,
So
and we're gonna get fired up tonight. We're gonna get fired up
Oh
tonight
yeah,
because this
oh
is a
yeah.
great topic.
Because I wanted to see what is everyone's budget? Because Brian is out there buying $10,000 TVs, like he's buying a new pair of
Ah,
shoes,
now,
and
now
I'm
I'm
and
the
I'm
guy.
talking about 98-inch TVs, right? I mean, are we
I'm
real
that guy
tech for
now.
real people? So let's find out
Yeah,
what the
that's
budget is. People watching our channel, and maybe some of you who are new to the channel. So we have almost 4,000 votes by now, and the question is, what's the most you would pay for your next TV? And the number one answer is up to $2,000 because I want a little bit more performance and reliability. And then right behind it, which surprised me, is $3,000 to $4,000. So we're talking flagship. And then next up is they want to keep it under 1,000 because even if you're shopping 85-inch, there are 85-inch TVs like the Samsung CU7000, right? That's under 1,000 and 15%. You're going to cut it off at $1,000, and you can get an okay 65-inch for 1,000. And then something else. I'm going to keep my plasma. And then there's 12% that will pay over 4,000. And we're talking about probably the 110 UX from Hisense or the TCL 115-inch or maybe a micro LED or an 8K TV or the $6,500 G4 with MLA 83 inches, right? So, there are a few of them that are pretty expensive. But before I share some of the comments because we got some great comments. Brian, where are
at
you
two
on this
percent.
list? And I know you get
First of all,
all of the above, right? But
first
if
of
your
all,
wife
hello to
said to
every.
you, you get to keep one TV, Brian, go out and buy
So
one
I
TV
was
and get rid of the rest. What's your budget?
All right. First of all, let me say hi to everybody in the chat. What's up, everybody? I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a while. FOMO and I, we haven't. Has it been a week? A little.
Yep,
We're off our schedule, but
we
love
are.
you guys. Thank you for being with us tonight. I know we got some influencers in the chat. We got KG in the chat. We got TKK in the chat. What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing? I think B the installer, you said stopping by. Um, so I've already been to the top of this food chain at 12,000.
Yeah, huh?
In 2016, which is like $20,000. So would I do that again? Absolutely not. Not for any reason. So I would still be in the over 4,000, unfortunately.
Over
Yeah,
4,000?
I
Okay.
still gotta be over in the over 4,000. I do think though, when you spend that less, that really enjoying what you get is a surprise, and I think that's a great way to feel about it. Hey, this only cost me $500. It's pretty good. I think
Yeah,
that's a good.
yeah.
And that 2% plasma is real though. That crew that said 2% is Inuit, no doubt.
They're out there. I got a couple of comments about that. This is that's one of my favorites because it's all perspective. John Bissell shares, I recently bought a 65-inch Samsung at Walmart for $400, right? It's probably like one of Samsung's lowest of the low as far as their tiers. It's not the best TV, but it has a better picture and operating system than my 5-year-old 60-inch Sony, which he bought back then for $1,600. And in today's dollars, it's probably closer to 2,000, right? And so, isn't that crazy, Brian, that after 5, 6 years, you're getting at least similar performance, if not a little bit better, for $400, and it's slightly bigger. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good times for
You know
sure.
what? But I will tell you, I had the Samsung LCD Touch of Red. That was 2006. Those thicker LCDs did perform very well though. It was the
Mm-hmm.
edge lit after that I saw the diminishing returns. So I think that jump
Mm.
really happens. So at least those had that full array feel to it. You know, the bulbs were going down the TV. They still
Right.
hold up okay. Plasmas still hold up okay. I know
Yes.
John Hooper. Is John Hooper in the house? John Hooper
I-
is in the house.
Show off your
There's our
plasma.
What's up, John? So yeah, that's the crew right there. But 60, that was 60. What'd you say? That other guy was 62 inches, 60 inches, right?
60 inches, something like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, 60. That had to be more than 5 years ago. I'm not sure there was a 60-inch Sony for a minute, but
But
I
even,
think these
60,
TVs.
it was pretty expensive way back when. Yeah.
Oh no doubt. I had a Panasonic Viera Plasma, 42 inches, $4,000.
Oh,
What's up,
wow.
Scott?
Scott's in the house. Lisa's
What's up,
here.
Scott?
And
Get
I
that 500,
apologize.
baby. Hi, Lise.
And this was originally set for 6:30 Eastern time, and I set it for 6:30 Pacific time. And KG's like, dude, do you know that you set it for Pacific time? I'm like, what? Don't. So I had to go back and do a quickie. So apologies if I disturbed your dinner.
Well, the
And
funny thing is, we'd be sitting here thinking that we fell off. We're like, damn, that was fast.
I know, no one's here.
Just sitting here by the campfire alone. Damn, did nobody love me. That was quick. So much for being on the rise.
I
That's
love that so many have their budget at 2,500 to get a 65 inch. You are literally getting a flagship. I mean, whether it's the A95L or whatever, 2,500 is such a good price for a 65 inch because you have options available to you. And this is kind of like, prices have dropped in terms of quality, right? I mean, you're still getting a 65 inch for 2,500. It feels expensive, but the quality of 65 inch I think it's pretty significant. And
Yeah.
now, 1,500 for 65 inch, I think you could still get near flagship level. The S90C, 1,500 65 inch around there. I would stick with the S90C though, because the C3 is around this price as well, or the B3. It's a step behind the S90C for sure. But as far as mini LED, I mean, this is more than enough to get a QM8, the U8K last year, and the X90L is not mini LED, easily 1,100. So 65 inch, this is a good spot for just below flagship, but most people can't even tell the difference regardless. But at 1,500, I think that is actually a sweet spot for
It
a
is.
good 65 inch.
Well, how about last year, the beginning of last year, 65-inch was the new big TV. That was last year. Very beginning of the year, 65 was the new big TV. Like everyone's like, okay, we're moving up to 65.
And
And
then we're
then we're like,
talking
okay, we'll do 100.
maybe 77. Next thing you know, we're at 100.
We were at 100, but I think that's so indicative of the price changing.
Yeah,
We talked
yeah,
about how people would scoff at. We reviewed the X92, which was 100 inches. Everyone's like, no way, it's only 4K. Why? Because it was 20 something thousand. The minute that size went down to $2,000, you're like, cool, I'll take three
yeah,
of them.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
exactly. Everyone's opinion changes when that price goes down, no doubt.
So and I want to have this comment and then Sharmaki Adam's comment, or Sharmake. OLEDs are just too expensive now. Wait till prices drop. But then again, 1,800 at Best Buy for the 77-inch S89C Samsung's QD OLED. I think this is the bottom dollar for OLED. I mean, that is such a good price for a 77
So this,
inch.
I gotta stop. I gotta stop.
You gotta go get it.
I gotta talk some. I gotta talk some smack.
Okay.
How much does your phone cost?
Oh,
What do you
when
guys
I got
expect?
my iPhone 14 Pro was like 1,100, right, with
So
memory
I'm
and
gonna go after the
additional
chat right
storage.
now. Everyone's like, I can't believe you want to wait for that to go down, Matt. You want to wait for that? My phone costs more than that. This thing costs more than that. Where do you want these people to make any money? It's like they're just, it's just like, nah. I want it for. Would you say you want it for the price of free? Or Kevin Hart, 40-year-old virgin, for the
The
price
price
of on
of
the house.
free.
But anyway, he's like, 1,800 for 77-inch OLED. Let's wait. Like, what are you waiting for? I mean,
This
come
is
on,
a really
guys.
good
Come
price.
on, man.
I guess they're waiting in 3 years. It'll be 1,400. I mean, it's only a few $100s less, right? And of
Yeah.
course, you know me. I love large TVs. So people tell me to calm down. For 1,000, you can get a really nice 50 to 55-inch TV. Yeah, I cannot agree with you more. For that price,
I can put, I
you're
can put,
getting QM8, U8K, X90L. I mean, it's not quite OLED, and if it is OLED, it's more like a B3, B series. We're not quite at S90C level, below 1,000. So we're getting closer, though. We're definitely getting closer.
Yeah, yeah, 55. You put that in your bathroom.
Uh-huh.
Put that
Scott.
in the makeup room. Scott got the guillotine. Come on, guy. We're talking about the heavyweight division.
And now let's say you guys do want to move on in technology, right? So what surprised me is this year's, or rather TCL's launch, and I'm going to put this up real quick and take this down. There we go. Okay, so TCL launches its first microLED TV. It's 10,000 nits, 4K, 163 inches, and it's about $110,000. And you guys saw my thumbnail. Wait, that's 50%? Wait, 110,000 is a lot of money. Actually, on a per inch, right? 110,000 for 163 inch is actually about half the cost of Samsung's 110 inch at 150,000. Now they're both over 100,000, but you got to look at the size. On a per inch basis, the price has already dropped by half. And they're using very similar technology. This 110 inch also, I believe, is tiled like this one, right? So let's look at the TCL. So
Oh,
163
it's not
inch.
unibody. It's a
It's not a unibody. It's not that monolithic
subtext. Okay.
giant tile. It's multiple smaller ones, but still, if this is TCL's
Don't get
first
too
attempt,
close. Don't get too
for
close.
how long before the 163 inch drops to 80,000 and then maybe 80 inches? And remember, 4K at 163 inch, so the pitch size is still larger. That's why they're able to do it, right? But still, that's 10,000 nits. And image processing, we're not even going to get into that. We're going to talk about the concept of, can we get a micro LED TV to human levels? You and I, not Cosmo. I know you're probably here watching this, Cosmo. We're
Now he's
we're not
watching it on
all
his micro
we're not all
LED.
trading in our Ferraris for a couple of TVs here, but ultimately, what do you think, Brian? I mean, at 163 inches, this pretty much replaces projectors at this level in a few years. And this is
Yeah.
TCL's first commercial product that's a micro LED. And on a per inch basis, it is half the price of what Samsung is selling theirs for right now. What are your thoughts on micro LED? Maybe it's coming sooner rather than later in terms of affordability index. Not this year, obviously, but maybe 3 years?
Well, if TCL, because I just did a video on micro LED where I showed TCL, Hisense's micro LED, even LG's Magnet. Still astronomical prices, but if TCL or Hisense are hitting it, that first TV is going to be expensive. We talked about the
Yeah.
115 Max. That first 115 is going to be 10, 12 grand. The
Mm-hmm.
one after that's going to be 10.
Yep.
So the price it is right now, what I think is budget, is that it's insanely large, but that's just their first prototype out there. See if you guys like it and then drop it by 20, 30%. That's what I think is more interesting. If they can do something like that also, FOMO, how Samsung has the 110 micro
Mm-hmm.
LED, they start doing unibodies, those might be 10, 11,000 at, so if they go after that smaller one, because I know Samsung has the 140 unibody, but they also have a 110, I believe, which is a unibody. Then everything else is all prototypes or the panels. I don't like the panels put together. I can see the seams.
Mm-hmm.
So, have you seen them up close, FOMO, the ones with the seams?
Yeah. Uh, you don't see the seams when all the panels are properly white
Calibrated.
point matched and calibrated to the same color and white point. You see it when either the pixels are off, the brightness is off, the color is off, and that's why it's so expensive. The expense is actually individually calibrating each of those 12-inch, 1 foot type sized tiles, and you can do one at a time. And how many of those are there, right? 40, 60, whatever. So just doing that is very time consuming because out of the factory, they're not the same. These tiles are slightly different. So it looks like a hodgepodge of tiles that does require some time. I put up Batman's comment, which I think is a pretty good one. Generation Z is actually killing the TV in a new survey. 80% of them said that they watch content on mobile phones and tablets I believe we're seeing the very early stages of the death of the TV. And you and I have teens, right? I have a teen son and a daughter. They're each in their room. One's watching off of his iMac. So he's got an iMac, he's got a MacBook, and he's got an iPad. So, he's chatting on one, watching streaming on his iPad. My daughter has a mini iPad, and she also watches on her Chromebook. And here I am. The only people watching TV is the wife and I, right? So, we watch our TV, and
Yep.
the kid's like, I'm not interested in watching that. I'll watch my own thing. Whereas back in the old days, when we were younger, remember, there's one TV, and you watch
Shared.
what dad
Yeah.
wants to watch, or MASH, right? If you're gonna like Columbo, you're gonna sit down and
Columbo.
watch,
Yeah, watch that Columbo.
watch whatever it is that dad's watching. Is I mean, maybe this is just my family, but how is it in your family? Is your wife watching something different than you and the kids at the
Of
same
course.
time?
I mean, of course, but that survey is actually outdated. That should have been 5 years ago. Prior to the lockdown, that was already happening.
Hmm.
As soon as the iPad came out, kids in colleges were already using their laptops. But it wasn't until we had the larger iPads, the 12-inch. Kids are watching on their phones, and if you look at this, the picture quality on a phone, the pixel density, even if it's not 4K, looks amazing. But it
Hmm.
was when we were all locked down together that TVs resurfaced and made that comeback. So actually, it's not the beginning of the end. The end already happened. It just got kind of resurrected. It'll never be gone, obviously, or we would be talking about something else. But you're right. People are back to their own faces buried in their phones. But communally, we still watch on a TV, but a lot of times it's just me. I edit with the TV in the background.
Hmm.
My wife watches a 12-inch iPad. The kids watch their devices. So the projector never gets turned on, by the way. That is actually kind of disappointing.
And that's what I wonder about as well, because I notice a lot of the M Wave, right? We have a lot of friends at M Wave, and they're
Hi,
building the
Steve.
man cave. But I noticed
Yeah.
that these man caves are mostly either empty nesters where the kids are gone and it's just you. And everyone needs a hobby, right? So the males got a hobby, it's their home theater, and the females they do their thing, but it ends up being a very solo activity. It's very lonely.
Always
The
is,
rest of
yeah.
the family, they just rather gather around whatever small TV in the den. That's dad's little project or giant home theater project,
Yeah.
but they're not interested in this home theater
Yeah.
experience that you and I always talk about.
What's interesting too, FOMO, was that, builders in this area, I live in Connecticut, um, home theaters are always something they offered. We'll put it where home theaters typically go, in the basement.
Hmm.
Nobody
Basement.
socially wants to go to a basement. So that's where these not kiosk, I'm sorry, the credenza A-wall projectors, things that go away because people don't want TVs that big in their main room. If you have the size of a beautiful house, you don't want a large screen on the wall. So that they were toying with that, but they found that putting all this money into a home theater, nobody gets together and says, "Hey, let's go watch a movie and not talk." Adults, right? So how
Right,
often do
right,
you
right,
and your
right.
boys go see a movie? I mean, I still do that, but when you have people over, you're like, hey, I haven't seen you guys in a while. You ready? Turn the lights off. It's never that. So it really ends up being me sitting there going, okay, I'll just sit here.
Right, right, yeah.
So
No,
you're
you
right.
watch, and then they start drifting off one at a time. An
Yeah.
hour in, you're watching MASH by yourself, right?
Yeah, well, you and I said this as we're dumping money into our speaker setups, and a lot of my furniture that was in my home theater is in the studio right now. Right in my home theater, I have the Polk Legends, I have surround sound, I have Atmos, and I have a gamer chair. I never even replaced the couch because no one's down there with me. It's a little sad, but no one's
Hmm.
really down there with me. So I end up being like, well, why keep buying this equipment if I can't? Well, now as a person that does what we do, we don't have the time really. But it really makes me think about it. Like, why buy five more chairs if no one? It's just a place to put
Yeah,
your
you're
Doritos.
right. So you have a
Hanging
you have a
out with me.
98-inch TV, and you have these theater chairs, but it's just you alone on this giant theater.
Yeah,
It
you're
feels
like,
even more lonely when you're in a
you're like,
giant theater
hello,
chair.
hello.
Anyone want to join me? I promise we'll watch Mario Brothers next.
I know. When they were little, at least you put some Pixar on. Now
Well,
nobody wants to watch it. Well, you know what?
well,
My two daughters are very different. Do your kids like
uh-huh.
watching the same stuff at least?
My son likes
My kids,
anime. My daughter likes more of the girly stuff, cheerleading type, dancing, reality. She watches a lot of influencers on YouTube / TikTok. I mean, she's just all over the place. My son is more into Japanese anime, manga type stuff. So yeah, they're very different.
Yeah, my daughter was watching The Crow, and the other one was watching Barbie. So go figure out how that one's going
Yeah.
to work. Like,
Well,
but
I
they
love.
immediately, I'll tell them to hang out together. Just stay in the same room. They're like, okay. And they sit there, and then they're like, all right, can we go back upstairs? It really does. And then I'm downstairs watching, I don't know. It's just, and we replace our TVs all the time, but it really is
Right.
for you. All by myself.
I
That'd
love
be my new
Bowman's
song.
comment. Look at this. I'm shocked how my kids watch
Hi,
content on their
KG.
phone and they have 55-inch TVs in their room. So he's out there, hey guys, you know what? We're rolling in money. Y'all get a 55-inch TV in your room. And they're like, I don't understand.
I
Why?
don't want it. No. So, dude, check this out. So, Airbnbs, I know people that own these, right? And they'll say we put a TV in every room, and they're never turned on. No
Hmm.
one. They say they lay in bed with they're on vacation, and right away they're like, all right. So the funny thing, FOMO, is the new together is just being by each other, and you watch what you watch, and I watch what I watch. You're just
Hmm.
happy to be together, but it does take away that. So here, I'll test you with this, and this is for you guys in the comments. You talk about physical media, or I challenge everybody to do this. Look at your profile, or your partner's profile, your wife, your husband, whatever. Go into each other's profile and see how they're not the same, right? When I look at my DVD collection, Blu-ray collection, 4K collection, in the 90s and 2000s, I watched a million different things because I
Yeah.
used to watch it with a girlfriend, buddies. Now that I stream, it's all the same kind of crap. It's all the same. Dolby Vision, Fall of Usher. There was much more variety when I used to watch things with the family or friends. It's very
Yes.
different now. You still have a variety or not? No
Well,
variety.
on Netflix, I watch a lot of variety based on just international foreign dramas. So
Yep.
Korean drama, period epic, Chinese drama, modern business, financial drama between families fighting over control, right? Or the Netflix action movie or Disney Plus. I found that I have not been watching a lot of Disney Plus, even though I have the subscription. I
I
got,
never watched.
I agree with you. I got kind of bored with this endless onslaught of Star Wars spin-offs. I, I
Oh, they're
couldn't
garbage.
I couldn't
Garbaggio.
finish that last
Even
one. I
Marvel
don't
stuff's
remember what it
garbage
was.
too. Ugh,
I
it's
couldn't
all
finish
garbage.
it. I mean, Mandalorian was great, and then I
The
finished
season one maybe. They're trash.
I mean, I forget the names now. Maybe I'm just getting old because
No,
it's
they're
not even
terrible. They're
memorable.
terrible. Even Pixar is bad. Back in the day, I used to watch all their stuff, but I can't watch that stuff anymore. So I never watch it.
Yeah. Yeah, Succession. So, Asian dramas versions of Succession. I saw some of that. Those are fun too. And so it goes back to, do we have to watch Succession on TV? That's the thing is, the group here, us, we love our large
Good question.
TVs. And my wife and I too. We love sitting in the room where we watch our projector or our giant TVs. Although we have a TV in the bedroom, the A95K, we often kind of go into another room to watch it just because it's more comfortable. The chairs are larger or whatnot. And then my daughter goes into our bedroom with a TV, and she pulls out her iPad. I'm like, honey, you got a nice TV here. She goes, that's all right.
She's a,
And she
she's
pulls
an
out her
adult.
iPad, sister, and and that's the thing. It's the interaction. She's,
Yeah.
scrolling here,
Yeah.
swiping there, typing here. On the TV, she couldn't do that because she's
No.
interacting with, whether it's TikTok, YouTube, whatever, making comments. And I
So, you
see
know
that,
what?
it's not just watching. They're interacting with the content. It's harder to do on a TV. Like you and I, we have to have our phones out so we can chat comments
So
on a YouTube
this
stream.
is where I'm going to age myself. When I saw that really change was actually when not iPod, the iPod came out. We're all hanging out, chilling. We're driving. You're listening to music. My friend had the iPod, the shuffle that you plug into the tape deck, and literally 10 seconds into the song, like next song. Okay, next song. I'm like, wow, can we get through the song? It's just to your point. It's kind of like we do on YouTube videos. I got the gist of that. Got the gist of that. Got the gist of that.
I
So
got the
you,
gist of that. Oh,
so
the
you're
chorus is done.
like,
Let's move on.
yeah, you're like, hey, I'm Brian. This is Brian. Next, next. Hey, I'm KG. Next, FOMO. Next. But I was literally in the car. I'm like, God, let one song go, and that's how everything is. We used to literally, I would get pizza, put a Goodfellas like VCR tape or Scarface, fast forward it to the middle, and hit play. Now
Yeah,
you're watching things halfway through, and
yeah.
I mean, I mean, I'm guilty of it too. I'm like, you read articles now. Okay, this many. All right, at the end, I guess the middle has all the content. You miss it. I think that's
Oh,
part of it.
you bring up a point, and I wanted to share this with you guys. I'm going to put this on my FOMO show later to talk about it, but I have to rant about Roku, what Roku's done. And I knew this was coming.
I
So
hate.
Roku
Oh, man.
TV, Roku streaming device. If you guys have a Roku, right, and you notice they are forcing you to accept their new updated terms of service arbitration agreement. So you can't sue them, you have to arbitrate, you can't file a class action, whatever it is, right? And here's the problem. You cannot watch until you accept the new arbitration agreement. So basically, your TV is disabled until you click accept, or your streamer, the stick, cannot be used until you update and accept their updated terms of service, which is to accept the arbitration agreement. And for me, I'm like, okay, forget the arbitration agreement. That's not a big deal, right? Most of you don't care. You're not going to file a lawsuit or whatever. How far before this
TV.
becomes an ad thing? Meaning, oh, you can't use our TV unless you accept the ads. Look, you bought the TV, you paid bottom dollar, right? It's only $200. You're going to watch ads. So when you turn it on, click accept ads, click it to the, connect it to the internet, or it will not work. So it's going to tell you, you got to keep it connected to the internet and you're going to watch ads. Otherwise, return the TV. I see that happening on Walmart's Vizio TVs. I see it happening on Roku
Oh,
TVs.
no
I see
doubt.
it. And if you pay more, then maybe you could avoid it. More meaning, you're paying the Sony tax or the Samsung or whatever. But for those who are trying to get a good deal at under $400, I'm telling you guys, this is the beginning of the end. When Roku said that you cannot use any of their devices, Roku TV or Roku stick, until you accept what is simply just an arbitration requirement, that's crazy. Oh, but I think they have an alternate. If you snail mail, if you write a letter nicely to them, put it in the mail, they'll send you something back that allows you to activate it or something crazy. Like, I don't know. But at the end of the day,
You're like, where's the
it's
mailbox? You still got those? You're like licking the stamps. Yeah.
I know. It's like,
You don't even
how
know
do
how to
you?
write anymore. You're like,
I was
ow.
gonna say, who writes anymore? You get a handwrite,
You got any pens
please.
in this house?
I want to opt out, but it has to be by mail. You can't email them, right? It's like you got to mail it to a specific PO box, whatever, to
Oh
opt
my
out and
god, it's like
preserve your
Breaking
right to
Bad.
file a class action lawsuit. Yeah, it's nuts.
So FOMO, I'll do you one better. So I did a video on the FS1, Sharp FS1,
Uh huh.
and it's Roku, which is something that I think is supposed to be a good thing. I cannot stand Roku. I mean, I
It's
see that logo,
so. Wait, did
Roku
you
operates
put
system.
your video on the review yet? The review out the
I
sharp.
didn't put it up now,
Okay,
no, because I have
so
LG to I have LG tomorrow. So,
so
so I shot.
context for everyone. Sharp released an OLED TV that is two
Right.
things that we want. One, it's
Yep.
affordable. And I
Gorgeous.
regret saying this. Two, it has my favorite OS, Roku, which is now dead to me. It's like, Brian, remember
Has
2 weeks ago? What did I say? 2 weeks ago, oh, I love Roku.
I
It's
love
great for senior citizens. And I'm like, "Ugh,
it.
in
So it's
two
gonna think
weeks.
so. So
It's like,
yeah,
I remember
so
you called me and you're like reviewing this amazing Roku Sharp TV. I'm like,
I'll do this
wow,
little
I can't
thing.
wait to. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Brian, it's dead to me. In two
Yes,
weeks.
I call him on the way home. So anyway, as I'm filming this thing, right? I gotta tell you, the TV's beautiful and picture quality is amazing. But when you take that remote out, you're like, really? So it's got the buttons on the side. It's all purple. There's no settings button. It's a star. You have to hit the star like I'm dialing a phone. But here's the thing. So Robert's leaving, Wendy's leaving. They leave me in the store, and you cannot get past. You have to put a credit card in.
Oh, wait, on the Roku, your Roku TV, you gotta put a credit
You
card
have
in?
to put a credit card in.
Wait,
So
wait,
Robert's
so
like, "Am I put?"
wait, so you have to accept an arbitration agreement. You get to put a credit card. What is it, like a
There's no
hotel?
way around it. If you, it says right there, I should have taken a picture of it. It said, "If you want to
Is it
access your
for what is
TV,
it? Incidental expenses, where just in case you watch porn, they charge you. Is that it?
It's like a slot machine on the side. So I went to try to put the Fire Stick in to go around it. It was
Uh-huh.
like, no bueno, no thank you. It's to access
HDMI
your
shut
TV.
down. Give me your credit card.
It was like, so it said, it goes to access your TV, put in your credit card. So now Robert's on the other side of the store putting in his credit card. And I'm like, don't worry, I'll hard reset it. And then it's going back and forth between what turns whatever on. Then once I get on there, and this is when I called you, FOMO, I was like, I
Hmm.
forget this Roku crap. I'm not going to sign into every app. I put in my Fire Stick, and half of the apps were locked. They were locked.
Until you put in your credit card. They're locked until they see that credit card. Is that it?
No, I had already put the credit card in, but then somewhere later on, it kind of let them all. But I've never put a Fire Stick in any TV,
Hmm.
and so I saw the apps appear. This one had locks on all the apps, and then it let me get into them. We bring Fire Sticks and Apple TVs wherever we go. There's no point in signing. If you guys want to check out TVs, do not sign into your TV and do all that. This would not let me get past the credit card screen, FOMO. So that's the beginning of it.
Oh my God.
Hi,
So
Lisa.
I was just complaining about the whole terms of service. This is even more dystopian, as someone just said. What you just experienced is exactly what I was afraid of. They're forcing you to do things that
Yeah.
really privacy. I mean, forget ad delivery. You can put your credit card on just for the darn thing to work. And
Huh.
hopefully Roku is watching this. I should relabel this stream. I'm going to have a dedicated anti-Roku policy video because what you experience is a step farther down the road to dystopia where first of all, this Roku TV isn't cheap. This is a Sharp OLED. The darn thing is what,
Yep.
$1,500? And I was going to praise Sharp for selling a affordable TV. I don't think Sharp realized who they got in bed with because when they heard Roku was going to do the OS, like, oh yes, we don't have to worry about the operating
Yep.
system. Roku comes in and takes over, and suddenly, oh my God, who is our partner? Roku. And I know why Roku is doing this. So let me put on my Roku hat. They are threatened by Walmart taking over Vizio, Amazon and their Fire TV. So Roku is trying to stay alive. And the only way to stay alive is to
Black
lock in
money.
a credit card, start delivering ads, and you guys know the next step. Oh, click here,
Yep.
Nike, we got your credit card, click
Avoid-
buy, boom,
Yep.
Nike gives them a cut. You guys see what's happening, right? Basically, Roku wants to be a window store, like kind of like Amazon, a marketplace, Roku marketplace. You're going to see Nike, you're going to see appliances, plants, hardware, home improvement, Home Depot, and you could buy all of that because your credit card is registered. I mean, you see that happening right now,
Look
and
at
I can't believe
Robert
it's.
Lawrence. Check out Robert Lawrence. He says, where'd he go? He put they pay per minute. You imagine? It's like, I got five, there's 10 minutes left of this movie. How much can I put in? Put in $15. Damn. You can
Wait,
totally
wait.
imagine. It's like back in the cell phone when you'd run out of minutes. You had to like reload it. Got a burner TV now. Oh
Well,
my God.
well, I don't know how old you guys are, but you used to be on a payphone, and sometimes on a payphone they give you a countdown. You have 10 minutes left. Add another dime. Add, like you're looking for a quarter,
Collect
and
call.
then it's over, right? They hang up on you. Roku, come on, right? I feel so blackmailed, basically. I mean, it's
It
wait
is.
until Roku starts making cards. I can't go home. I'm trapped here.
honey, you got to update the credit. Well, think about this. Let's do this, right? It's worse than that. It's going to be like if you've ever had an Xbox, you have a credit card on an Xbox or in 3 years, if it expires, it'll then say, you need your expiration date. Now you're like, oh my God, now I got to run out and grab my credit card, wherever it is. What's the code on the back? Oh, all right. The code is, you're just sitting and want to watch your TV. I got to unlock it. I bought the thing 5 years ago. Now I got to make sure my credit card. Why don't you just put the chip on the side so I can pop it in? I'll tap the thing with my. It's ridiculous.
Well, you saw that Google TV, the operating system for Sony and Hisense and TCL, they just had this big song and dance. Oh, we updated our UI. It's amazing. More ads. So Google, quote unquote, upgraded their UI for everyone. And if you guys, and I don't think you guys have much of a choice, by the way, but once you
Right.
upgrade it, it's an ad delivery service that's even more how to say, intrusive, and the ads are less relevant. Before, at least, it was ads about, hey, HBO Max is going to show this, hey, Game of Thrones is coming up, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Content related, sports related, hey, Mike Tyson's back, right? Now it's, hey, buy some perfume, I know you're a man, I have perfume for the ladies, get it for your wife, it's Valentine's Day, whatever, right? And it's the future.
Well, how about this, FOMO? You ever see? It could be your parents, right? So you get them a Fire Stick, then they look it down, they see Prime, Max, whatever. Prime looks like the Fire Stick. Then you go into Prime, but their apps are on the outside of it. So now I realize I'm paying for two HBO Max, two Cinemax because they're signing in the wrong. They all look the same. So it's like they don't even know where they are. Like, so Brian, I'm in Prime. Like, no, you're not in Prime. You're on the Fire Stick. You have to go into Prime. Prime
Hmm.
is where all the apps are. No, I see the apps right here. No, you don't. So they go into those apps, and those apps tell them to sign in, and they have to go back out and go into the Prime. So it all looks the same. And it's a ton of crap everywhere. I don't know. It's a
Oh,
nightmare.
wait. This is perfect timing. Thank you. Thank you. Someone just shared this. So Roku, and I'm going to screenshot this. This literally happened 2 hours ago. Thank you guys for giving me this. This is so perfect. The timing couldn't be better. I love you, Roku. So we're going to add this quickly for you guys.
Did it just happen? Really? Oh man.
I just looked it up. There it is.
Robert's like, what the heck?
Roku is reeling from a data breach, and it just happened, I guess, today. I just found this on the internet. Thanks, Brad, for giving me that.
I'm so glad I didn't put my credit card in.
Roku is reeling
Or
from a
Robert.
data breach that exposed your credentials. Call Robert. Robert, that was your credit card, honey. Robert, can you take can you change your code? Thanks, Brad. You're awesome. So
Exactly.
Roku is reeling from a data breach that exposed your credentials. So I just looked it up, published 2 hours ago on Android Police. Okay, guys, is this not the ultimate? So they force you to accept the terms of service. They force Brian to enter Robert Zone's credit card.
I had to mug him at the door, pick his pocket.
And then after they get all these credit cards, oh, you know what? We forgot to
Oh,
update our security policy. We were so
yeah.
busy collecting your credit card and collecting your money. And now we just gave it away to Russia, China, whoever the heck took all of that user credentials. And come on, I think it's more than just user credentials. They never tell you what everything is, right? So this comes days after the company adjusted its terms of service and forced users to agree or lose service. So now they can't sue. So isn't that great? You can't sue. You lose your credit card. You lose your ID. Suddenly, some lady in Mexico is buying a mansion with your credit. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
it's
That's
unfortunate.
unbelievable.
I'm sorry. You
So
couldn't time it
Robert's
any
credit
better.
cards on the commanding clerk said, Robert's credit cards on the dark web. Sorry.
And of course they're gonna start logging in, right? Watching all the crazy stuff.
What you guys don't know though, when you go someplace to film a TV, you're setting up your gear, right, FOMO. You do them at home. That extra credit card fee has like another hour
Hmm.
of us just trying to get by it. And even Samsung has where you can skip it but can't skip it. I'm like, I just want to film and go home. I don't want to be here that long doing that. You know what I mean? It's just another whole nightmare.
Yeah. And I think this takes us to a larger discussion. Thank you, Batman, for raising this. So, we don't trust Sony with our credit card because, the whole PS5 losing, they have their whole data breach fiasco, right? Where they lost everything. All of their IP went on the web. Everything was lost on the web. I think it was like maybe 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And so now we're going to, are we going to trust Roku? Can you trust anyone? Google has had a data breach, right?
Home Depot.
Verizon. I mean, is
Yeah.
there anyone who hasn't had a data breach? And if they haven't, they will. Pure luck. And more often than not, that data breach is not even what we call brute force using technology. It's social engineering, where they call you up.
Yeah.
Hey, baby. Hey, I know you're lonely. Give me your email and we'll set up a date. Oh yes, here's my email. And next thing you know, they hacked into the company's server because some lonely dude or some lonely lady is like, getting it on with a Nigerian prince or something. Every single time, social engineering hacks into these. So we're not even talking about, or hey, plug in this USB, right? The classic. You receive a mysterious USB memory stick in the mail, and on it says mystery porn. What is the
Plug
first thing
me
you
in.
do? Plug it in. I
Well,
mean,
it
that's
says
all
check
I
this
have to
out for
do.
some research.
You get a mystery USB. All it is like mystery
Let me plug this into
whatever,
my laptop.
and you stick it in your work. How often is? I mean, that's the
You work
easiest.
laptop.
It works every single
Encrypted.
time, right? Find a
You know what?
company.
Yeah,
I don't care if it's
I think
Google.
you
You
just,
send them 1,000 USB
bro,
sticks, and every one of them says mystery porn.
you
People
just
just sticking it
discovered
in.
how to,
It doesn't
you
work. It
just
doesn't
discovered how
work.
the data breach happens. That means somebody at these companies is like, ah, mystery porn. Ah, Home Depot. Boop, into their work computer. That's the head of IT.
Oh,
Ball game.
it is so embarrassing. And this happens, CIA, FBI, and it's not like we're talking about the top guys. The person who's doing data entry, right? Contract worker. What's this? Oh,
Like no
boom,
money.
sticks it
Yeah.
in. Everything's compromised. Everything.
FOMO. Radek said FOMO. That was oddly specific. FOMO lets that slip once in a while. He was like, actually, the website is.
I made that up, seriously. Not
I made
personal
that up.
experience, right?
Honey, throw those out.
Well, y'all know that I lost my channel, right? It was hacked. So, uh,
Oh, yeah.
he knew it. That something happened.
I remember that too. Wow.
Well, you know
Wow.
what's
It got
scary?
real quiet. Real quiet. Like, oh, crap. What's up, AJ? We're on fire
This
tonight
is
already.
this is the
Like you're
creepy
drinking.
part is so I
Scary.
work I have a new gig on the side. I can't disclose too much other than I'm working on AI social engineering. So that's why I know so much, right? And this is
Cyberdyne.
dude, it is so scary what I know is possible with AI. It's not it's so crazy because and I'll tell you guys right now, right? My job is to design this system that
So much
predicts.
for not releasing anything. You're like,
I just have to. It's just too
not
funny,
too much
right?
detail.
Because
Anyway,
well,
so
because
it's
I'm
Skynet.
I'm I'm the one who's going to be designing the NDA anyway. It's my
Company's
NDA,
called
right?
Skynet.
But the reality
I'm building these
is,
robots.
with the amount of processing power I have available to me and the amount of data that is available, like I just write a check to Google. Hey, Google, I need all of your data. And all watching data, right? And I sign a check and give it to Netflix, whoever. Hey, I need your data. I need your data. I take all this data and I can create literally personas of different individuals. And then when you're on the internet, I know exactly all of your motivations. So forget about ad clicks, right? Right now, ad targeting, so we're kind of go off topic, but ad targeting is so 2000, right? This is way beyond ad targeting. It's like the minute Brian starts typing, they'll be like, you know what? Brian's feeling down today. So these are the triggers for someone who's feeling down. I'm going to deliver this, try this video, click on this, click on that. So here's the tricky part. Every time Brian clicks on something, I'm A/B testing how quickly he clicks on it so I can, in one session, identify his emotional state and how to fulfill that emotional state. How do I reduce his cortisol levels or raise his cortisol levels? Because he's looking for excitement right now. Because now I know he
Looking for a
wants
good
this.
time.
And instead of using ad click technology, right, I am saying, oh, his emotional state is this. Now, take this to TVs, right? So we're going to wrap it back up. Whatever you're
A
watching,
USB porn stick out of nowhere. What the hell?
no, right? So I could show him an image that says, "What happens when you plug in this porn stick?" If he clicks on that, I already know he's home alone. He's home
I was just
alone.
curious.
His wife is out the
Just
door. His
curious.
kids are not home, and he just wants to know what happens when you plug in a porn stick. Just out of curiosity, right?
There's
All
pizza
of
at the door.
that
What the hell?
AI
Pizza,
can
McDonald's, Taco
it's
Bell.
insane. The level of insight. You all almost have to get off the grid to avoid that because the AI that we're creating
Here we are
is
streaming on it. Great.
Skynet.
Too much for
I'm
us.
telling
Skynet.
you, right now everyone's talking about what they call general intelligence, right? AGI, advanced general intelligence is Skynet. How far away are we? And I can see the way to engineer it, even though it may not be true general intelligence, it is so close, what does it matter? Because the only thing we're missing is I have to give it the objective. If the objective is to sell more TVs, it will do whatever it takes to sell more TVs. If the objective is to
It'll come in your house, punch
increase,
out your TV.
yeah, right. As long as it's
New TV for
what the
you.
general object, if the objective is to make Brian laugh, it'll do it. So if I
It
say
just
the
worked.
objective is
I'm
for
telling
survival, define survival, you're in trouble because I've given you the
you.
objectives, right? It's crazy.
Get out of the chopper. Come on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is fun. Buddy Love says, I clicked on an item on my phone. 2 minutes later, I'm getting ads on YouTube about it.
You know what's
Hey,
funny?
buddy, you know that you don't have to click. You only have to hover. The,
Yeah, you
the
don't have to click on
session
it.
the session cookie on your browser is so intrusive. Every millisecond,
It's bad.
it's collecting
It's bad.
something. It's collecting whether you have your finger on the mouse, whether the mouse cursor is hovering. And if you're undecided, right, you have your mouse hovering over this very suspicious, you're like, should I click on it? You turn, oh, the wife is here, and then you pull away, and you did not click, doesn't matter, it knows. It's just going to wait now. It's going to start delivering you. So I didn't click, right? You just
The worst
hovered.
thing is the algorithm's not smart enough to know that I already bought it. You ever do that? Like you buy a lawnmower. Stop showing me lawnmowers. I bought one already. You're like, enough. Yes, thanks for helping me. I don't need another one. Like it still sends me
No,
Bronco
no, Brian,
images.
Brian. See,
Paul, leave us
that's
up.
so last year, right? You bought a lawnmower, it's showing you more lawnmowers. What it's supposed to do, you bought a lawnmower, it's showing you ads for gardeners to use the
Yeah,
lawnmower,
grass
right?
seed.
The kid
Yeah,
next door,
grass seed.
Mr. Brian, I'm only going to charge $10 to use your lawnmower, right? Lawnmower
Oh
maintenance.
man.
Well, you know what matches with that lawnmower? How about some trash bags? How about a rake, right? So those are the things that needs to happen. Yeah, showing you more lawnmowers does not make any sense at all.
No, yeah, yeah.
Someone in
What
the
is it,
future is about to travel back in time to warn us about AI.
I suppose it's not us.
I
Look,
think
so
that
you can tell
happened.
you can tell FOMO works for Skynet. Just last year, he was in the small TVs. Now he's talking
I'm
about these
telling you
monster
now.
robot. He's telling you about these monster robot TVs. Look, buy a TV that's bigger than you, 100 inches, no problem. Like FOMO, now I'm on to you.
No, this is the best one. Just slide that credit card in your mower, Brian. Can't even turn on the turn.
I got the back to do still.
In order to charge the mower, you got to put your credit card in, right? So you got to charge the mower, credit card. There you go. Okay, let's talk about TVs.
Oh, that's what we're here for.
So
What's up, buddy?
this is going to whether crypto has a question of whether we know Samsung is going to be selling mixing matching WOLED with QD OLED, and actually Samsung has responded and they don't know. There's no clarity yet.
I love when they do that. Like, look, I know you've been waiting a
So
long time for this. What I will tell you is, I have no idea. I have
so
no
I contacted my secret contacts at Samsung, and I'm like, hey, come on. There's this mixed message of S90C will be mix and matching 55, 65, 77 inch with QD OLED for the USA. I don't care about the other regions, right? Let's work one region at a time because my audience is mostly in the USA. You, my friend, are in the USA, so you can help me with USA.
Who,
Is
me?
the USA
Don't do
gonna
this one.
mix
I
and
mean
match?
Brussels.
Yeah,
Don't
and
you want me
you know,
to
and what's about the
France?
S85C? Is that still going to be released in the USA? And the response is, I'll get back to you. But he
I'll let you
responded,
know.
he responded again recently, I'm working on it. I'll get back to you. I said, you need to get
He's
back
like,
to me before the embargo lifts, right? So we have an embargo on when I could share
FOMO.
prices and all that good
He's
stuff.
like, look, I'll get back to you. I don't know. I'm working on it. What I'm working on is getting back to you and not knowing. And I'll work on letting that guy let me know that I can't get back to you. So a year later, you're like, oh my God,
Well, I
come with
told
me
him,
if you want to live. Come
I
with me if
said,
you want to live. Yeah,
I only want to talk about the TVs. I need to put this to bed because as I'm sharing prices, all I'm going to get is, so is that a QD OLED or an OLED? Otherwise, I'm not buying. So what's the point, right? I thought, look, if you want me to talk about the TVs, at least give us some clarity. Otherwise, I'm going to tell them to stay away from the S90C until we find out more. because that's the fair thing to do. And now, if it's a true panel lottery, then we'll have fun with it, right? We'll have everyone
LG's in a
post their pictures of their pixels, and we see who wins, who loses, right? So if Getty wins, we cheer him. If he loses, we play the sad clown song for him. But at the end of the day, if it ends up
Getty's
being a
already
panel
ahead of
lottery, yeah.
Getty's already ahead of it, man. Getty's already buying and selling the same TV, making money.
But it's going to be fun if it's a panel lottery. Hey guys, go ahead and buy a S90D, and
No, because
let us know.
yeah,
Did you win or did you
already
lose? Right?
you already know what's going to happen all year long. You're going to get those comments, super chats, and say, "Hey, FOMO, love your stuff. I think I like my TV." It ends with an N-Z65. See, reading you the barcode. I don't know those. So that's going to be the whole year. Then someone in the comments is going to say, "Oh, bro, that one is from here," and they're going to be like, oh, "I hate my TV now." So
And AJ, I know you're in Europe. To be fair, I don't have contacts in Europe. That's why. And my only European contact is Rasmus from Flat Panels HD. He is very persistent. He's hunting down the answer in Europe. So I'm gonna let my proxy Rasmus do that. Hey Rasmus, I love your articles, buddy. So I'm taking care of the country that I have contacts with. Now, if I did have European contacts, right, Brian, I would immediately call them. But they each region is their own fiefdom. They have
yeah,
no
no doubt.
idea what one hand is doing, like, the other hand in the other part of the world. So AJ, as soon as we find out other regions, we'll let you know. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how they treat Europeans differently than US. Like remember there were the 90 series, the QN90 series. One year it was part ADS Pro, part VA. I mean, it was just all over the
Last
place
year,
at one point.
or was it
Yeah.
last year? Well, I think Hisense has a big difference with that. I know Australia, something's crazy with that, where they were talking about that. With Australia, the panels were totally different. So
Okay,
that's
so
hard.
Brian, is this true? I know you spoke to a website. I spoke to a website. You spoke to LG recently. According to LG's website, this is LG. The G4 started shipping on Monday.
So
Brian,
now, let me just say this before I even speak, because what we've learned is we're being watched closely.
wait, let me
So
look
I
this
have
up while you answer. I'm going to go to LG's website. I mean, this is ridiculous. But go ahead,
no.
talk, my friend.
It should be the 18th is when the G4 would be like at distributors. I mean, because I know Robert said they were coming in the 18th, but I think you're thinking about early, like April 1st or 2nd is when you should see them. Shipping is they'll be at the distributor at that time, the 18th or whatever. I don't think you're going to see them. Some places do have them already in stock,
Hmm.
warehouses, not stores. So unless there's a Best Buy thing where it ends up on in FOMO's car, which has happened more than once, not yet. No, I mean I'm going to see them tomorrow. So I'm going to LG tomorrow. So I highly doubt I'd be going there to see a TV that's already like in the store behind me.
No, you're on embargo, and I'm unboxing while you're still doing that embargo.
Which actually happened to us at another place. It's like I'm signing NDAs, and they're like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Did you see this video though?"
Wait, no,
Oh
I
my
gotta,
god!
no, we gotta tell this story because the embargo does not cover this story. So you guys saw um, Caleb's video, right, where he had the stomach flu, where he was eating bad sushi at Samsung. So Brian, I fortunately did not get the bad sushi. So here I am promising Samsung I'm not going to talk about their TVs, right? He goes, yeah, don't talk about it. We don't want any details. And then as I'm saying, like, oh, by the way, do you know that as I'm signing this NDA, ABT is unboxing your precious S95D, showing it to the world. And they're like, who's
Did
ABT? I'm
you just
like,
give
wait,
you just give away where
wait,
we were?
what?
Does
So
Caleb
you're
do
letting
that?
these guys unbox, and
Caleb
here
had
I
food
am,
poisoning.
right? This,
It was as I was signing. It's like my social security number, my first child, and then I'm like, "Did you see this video?" They're like, "Oh my god!"
they're like, oh
Uh,
my gosh, we got to make some phone calls, right? So I don't even know if they made the phone calls, by the way, but all I can
yeah.
say is it's a wild, wild west out there, my friends.
Well, I'll
And
say that I highly doubt it as far as those because I actually have LG's Greg Lee on for an interview, which I filmed 2 days ago, which is going to air tomorrow, late evening or 6 o'clock tomorrow. I highly doubt I'd be having him on for an interview with a TV that I could probably have next to me. So I would
yeah,
imagine that'd
yeah.
be, it'd be in a couple days I think the 18th is when they're supposed to be with distributors. That does not mean you can buy one.
And hey, Lisa, when it happened, well, Caleb shared when it happened. So we were there before Caleb was, I think by a day or so. So they were kind of scheduling us in and out. So done, all done. Now we just have to wait for the embargo to lift so I can share all the secrets with you, Lisa. All the secrets that ABT hasn't shared with you yet, I will now share once the embargo lifts.
So is it
I tell
public
you,
knowledge that we were there now? Is that out?
no, but I figure I'm going to wait for someone from Samsung to say, FOMO, you're not supposed to say that you
Why?
weren't even
Because
here.
Caleb's doing food poisoning
I'm
videos.
throwing Caleb under the bus because, Caleb, you shared you got a stomach ache at Samsung. I can't share that I had a
He's
good
like,
time? Come on.
I was there before you, and you're like, yeah. It's like, yeah, so I'm down the street. I'm like, what? Top
But I will tell
secret.
you this, guys. There's
Driving in
one
like this.
TV that I cannot share at all. Even I don't think there's the embargo is so strict. We're not even supposed to share the actual model number. But I tell you this, it was an impressive TV. This is right now my favorite TV from Samsung this year. Without getting into too much detail, it's an amazing TV. And I believe it's worth the money. I think it's going to be relatively affordable. And this excites me more than either the matte screen or what's the other thing that excited me? The AI. Because I think most of you will be able to appreciate this, right? Because the AI, the matte screen is very use case specific. This one blew me away. So when I'm allowed to share that TV, and it's affordable, so it's not like, oh my gosh, it's a micro OLED. I'm so impressed, right? If only you had $100,000. So this one, we will definitely, we want this TV in for review. I told Samsung, I need this TV ASAP. This is going to be a fun review for me. So, and no one knows what it is yet.
I
It
know
hasn't
which
been
one you're
announced.
talking
So if you guys are
about.
guessing, you guys cannot guess because
Can't,
it doesn't even have a model number yet.
Nope.
That's all I can tell you, right?
Mhm.
And I think it's safe to say it doesn't have a model number, right? I'm not sharing anything. But beyond that, keep on guessing, my friends. Keep on guessing.
Well, first of all, I think if you guys know FOMO's new MO, you can guess that it's probably not a small TV. If we're gonna
Oh,
just do
Brian.
Wheel of Fortune here,
Oh, Brian.
turn the A around. Give me a vowel. Give me a. That's not going to be an
Oh,
iPad.
you know what? Lisa should be that person who turns the letters around, right?
Yeah, Lisa Vanna.
Vanna
So
White is
is it
now Lisa.
So now everyone's to look up Sam. Can we say that we were there? Are we still waiting? I'm not going to get in trouble for that.
Oh, Stan. The guesses begin. A95L.
Samsung
Samsung.
A95L.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know what,
It's a
AJ,
micro
you're
LED.
probably with our luck, you're probably right. Caleb's unboxing. It's probably on his channel right
So
now.
what's funny is FOMO was getting home, like flying home, and Caleb's like, I don't feel good. He's like, yo, I was hanging out. I'm like, dude, I thought you were under NDA too. I signed like 5 pieces of paper.
What's great? What's
What's up, High Def
great?
News?
What's great is like
High Def
this
News
is
now.
Brian's first NDA, right? So he's calling me. Can I share this? Can I share that? And then he goes, dude, Caleb's sharing everything. Look, he even shows the front door of Samsung.
He's like, I don't know where I am. The
I know.
address is
He's
this.
like,
My
here I
license plate
am at
is this.
Samsung.
What the hell?
Oh, Caleb, we love you. You're so funny. But you know why? It's kind of like the rules that apply to little people like us do not apply to Taylor Swift. It is safe to say that Caleb Dennison is the Taylor Swift of TV reviewers. He can get away with stuff that I cannot get away with. Like, he can take off his shirt and people will cheer. I do that, I get arrested. That's all I can say.
Yeah, hit by a car.
Get hit by a car. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah. No, Jamie, I'm not going to LG. I have an LG interview airing tomorrow. I misspoke.
Yes.
Jimmy, roll
But-
up. So
but-
yeah, no LG.
Wait. Now, if you were going to LG anytime soon, are you allowed to share that?
I hope. Yeah, I'm hoping to get to see the headquarters at some point. But
Are you
now,
gonna pull a Caleb and start collapsing in front of
Maybe-
LG with a stomachache?
be at the Howard and Johnson. Like, oh man, the pancakes.
Howard
What is he
Johnson.
eating before he goes there? It's like going to a place like, oh, I had some.
Oh wait.
I did
He
that
had
at Emway.
Wait.
At Emway, right?
Lisa saw the entire video. He had chicken teriyaki.
Ah. He was on a plane and ate the fish. What happened to this live stream, by the way? This one ain't getting monetized.
Oh, this is great. The new Swifty is the Kilibers. You
It's
know
Caleb. Hit
that's so
Caleb up. See if we can get him on here. Talk about his bowel
his
movements.
trip. I know. We need
He's like,
Caleb
here we
out
go.
here.
He
We need
goes.
Caleb out
I
here.
got some TV news. Anyway, my stomach is killing me. It's like,
It
what
wasn't
did he do?
sushi. We know that.
Oh man.
Okay, so now Getty is
Ah.
saying a 100-inch OLED. So this takes me back to the second topic, which we kind of got off course a little bit. OLED TVs will be dropping in
Little bit.
price because I like to take credit, probably not, but LG saw my video and said, wait, FOMO told us to increase production of large panels so we could drop the prices. Let's do that. And that's what they did, right? So they went out and they borrowed more money. They're going to put almost $1 billion or hundreds of millions into increasing production, investing in production so that they can get more 77-inch, 83 inches out the door and drop that price. Because I think we're already there with a 55 and 65-inch. It's just they're still overpriced. They just need to swallow their pride and drop the prices. Now, 100-inch, 97-inch, they need to increase production there as well because if everyone is running to the 97-inch size, and I told LG, you know, your C3, the image quality is good enough, right? MLA, yeah, you raise it to another level, but I want affordability. Preserve the C3, the B3 image quality. Forget the MLA, right? Strip whatever little feature you have to, but drop that price so that you can sell more of them, so that more people can enjoy OLED, and it's less of a quote-unquote premium product and more of an everyday product that anyone could buy. So hopefully the 97-inch OLED, it's a go. Now whether Samsung will carry it, yeah. Yes,
That's true.
give me all the undeserved credit. Thank you, thank you.
And then with FOMO,
Well,
what happens immediately? They ramped up that production line and everything. Like, oh, FOMO's on it. I know they blocked the updates from Samsung that time. Remember that? We had to update the TV live, and all of a sudden it was like cannot update. Some guy at
can't
Samsung
update.
turned it. That FOMO's on it.
Yep,
I'm
yep.
pulling the lever.
Hey
Respect
Andrew.
it.
Oh, okay. So Andrew drops by
Ah,
every now and then, you know, with his secret insider report. Thank you,
I know
Andrew, for
Andrew.
coming
Andrew's
by.
got so Andrew hit me up in a comment. I won't say who Andrew is. Andrew can't say who he is. He asked me if I got hacked because he did like this plasma comment. I said I don't think so. I didn't because I didn't see. His, oh, it was another account he had. I was like, oh my god. What's up, Andrew?
And Matthew, I couldn't agree more. So I wish LG would just consolidate the B series and the C series, right? I mean, the reason is they're only $200 apart. And you guys all know when it's $200, any consumer's like, wait, it's only $200. The C has a little extra brightness, has two extra ports. Why don't you just consolidate it and just save money with just one line, right? Make the audio slightly worse, whatever you have to do. But come on, this B line, go A, super inexpensive, right? The A series, or maybe consolidate the B with the A. Just bring the B to the A, give the C its own space, right?
Yeah,
And hopefully we can get an A series at an 83-inch size. Honestly, an A series 83-inch, and when I say A series, I'm talking 60 hertz panel, brightness maybe 10-15% less bright than the C series, but give me an 83-inch, 60 hertz OLED TV, and if that thing is priced at 2,000, 2,400, you're going to sell so many of those. I just don't know if they could do
yeah,
it, but that would be
yeah. But you think
great.
that's just the? I mean, not that they don't want to do that, but you think the cost to develop something that size, FOMO, just doesn't make sense money wise?
Well, that's the thing. It doesn't make sense now, but remember, they're investing in production. So
Yeah,
once production ramps up, if they're committed to 83-inch size, now they can have an A series 83-inch because
yeah,
most people want, I mean, what, they're streaming content, basic movie watching. 60 hertz is fine now. The software processing is so good by LG, you don't need 120 hertz native to get judder free, judder control. If you want gaming, I gotcha. Forget, this is not for gaming. This is for
yeah.
streaming, movie watching, 4K, Blu-ray, even Kaleidoscape. It doesn't matter. 60
And
hertz is
that,
going to work fine.
and that's what Greg was saying with one of the QLEDs was this is your baseline. This one looks great. If you want that gaming or that fast sports, you got to go up to that next size or that next model. But it's great to have those options. But you're absolutely right.
Yeah. And yeah, it looks like they've already consolidated some of the, just consolidate the price, bring it down to 60 hertz, and boom, you got an affordable 83-inch A4. Now, maybe it's too late for the
Yeah.
A4, right? Because if they're investing in production, we might see an A5. I hope there's an 83-inch A5. LG, you're listening. But by the
Yeah.
time the A6 rolls around, Brian, is that too late? Is that too little too late?
Well,
I mean,
well, I
A5 is
wonder
next year, but
what do you think they can do what Sony did with the end of the year with the A75L, something like that? Maybe a C series, like you're saying, a little bit reduced. Maybe lose the stand because I know the A75 had a different stand, different audio,
mhm.
and that TV sold very well. So I mean, I would imagine if they could do that. But you know what's funny, Funnel? Back to what we're saying about OLEDs. I know we're getting a lot of flack lately for saying OLEDs are dead because micro or mini LEDs.
Or
But I'm telling you right
large
now,
LCD TVs, yeah.
yeah, large LCD, the cheapest OLED. I mean, the Sharp blew me away. That TV is gorgeous. And I'm sitting here with this Roku remote in my hand, and it just didn't match what I was seeing on screen. I was like, this rubber thing with a purple button. I look over, just OLEDs. I mean, just quality wise, they're
It is,
unreal. I mean,
and that's exactly why I said 60 hertz OLED is amazing, right? I mean,
it's unreal, man.
in the old
Beautiful.
days, 60 hertz software processing, the software wasn't there to make the 60 hertz work. It's there now.
Yeah, it
So
is. Oh yeah, no
60
doubt,
hertz
no doubt.
OLED is fine. Now, this is a great question because I need to revisit this every now and then. Why don't QD OLED TVs implement MLA? Is it an LG only technology? So LG implements it because the MLA is offsetting the disadvantages of WOLED. So the W, the white subpixel, the way LG does their WOLED TV is it requires a color filter, it requires a polarizer, and then you have your white subpixel. MLA kind of brings the brightness back because you lose some brightness and color saturation with those layers. QD OLED does not have a polarizer. QD OLED does not have a color filter. The QD is its own color converting layer. And then the blue is the OLED. It goes straight through, right? So you don't have all those layers. So the MLA is not recapturing anything. It's not neutralizing anything. So Samsung has consistently told me that the MLA, it's like WOLED, you're nearsighted, you wear glasses and you can see clearly. MLA, QD OLED, you already have 20/20 vision. Putting on glasses is like putting on my glasses, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's like you
Yeah,
don't
you
need
know
any
those
lens.
lenses in those, bro. Damn, no. I thought they were
So
crap.
that's the metaphor is the MLA is as direct as you can get between the emissive layer and your eyes. WOLED, there's a bunch of layers in between the emissive layer and your eyes, and MLA is trying to get that brightness back, that color saturation back. It's just trying
Yeah.
to recoup some of that. And so that's why QD OLED, in our opinion, is the superior technology because you're not doing anything to offset the issues of the W in WOLED. So
What's
hopefully that
great about
answers your
both
question.
What's great about both technologies, though, is whether it's MLA or QD OLED, is that they're actually more efficient.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's incredible that they're getting. 'Cause I know everybody's getting worried that we talked Samsung display Chirag about hey these things are 1,000 nits brighter. What? No, they're cooler than they've ever been. We saw that versus WRGB, but also LG with their MLA, they're more efficient and they run
Hmm.
cooler. So it's not really about pushing them harder and beating them up at all. Yeah, Andrew's right. The cartons for yeah,
And
and
we
that's what we
talked
talk about
about
these
this.
TVs. Well, these TVs being so cheap. You want a TV for $1,000, but the cardboard's like $400. The plastic's like three. Where do you want the profit to? They want to ship it to me. No, free shipping too, Andrew. Right? So
And then
now,
and they complain about bent panels. All those bent panels goes
exactly. You want
back,
the,
right?
but it's just. I mean, I am like again. We go back to our initial conversation. 2016. I've said this in a million streams. Vizio P series was this highly rated TV. It was good. But why was it loved so much? Simply because it was a bargain 75-inch. It was $4,000.
Hmm.
You guys lose your mind now if a 75-inch TV is $4 grand. You don't care what it is. So, like an A95 or L releasing at the price it did, everyone lost their mind. Dude, TVs, speakers are still crazy expensive. So I think we have to kind of reassess a little bit. We want these companies to make some money,
Yeah,
some profit, so they keep
something.
doing it.
Oh,
What's up, Cosmo?
okay, wait. Let me give you balance, Brian.
Cosmo.
everyone, Brian, this point is so important. We want them to make money because then they don't go to Roku TV, Google TV,
Yes.
and drive ads down your throat to help them make money. Because either they make money on the margins, the TV they sell to you, or they sell the TV cheap, near cost, and make money on the ads that they split with Roku, Google,
Yeah.
Fire,
Or
Amazon,
yeah.
whoever, right? So you guys got to choose your poison. I prefer,
So,
and I could be off, Brian. Do you prefer to pay more for a TV and avoid all of that invasive anti-privacy
oh my God.
tracking ad delivery, or pay what Walmart's going to charge, which is significantly less, but they own your data. They own
So
you.
it's a great question. It's not even just that, FOMO. It's anything to look less junky. I mean, whenever I pop in Roku, I got Roku everywhere. I got Roku branding every place. Every time I turn around, it's purple every place. The remote. I mean, but Cosmo just got here, who's got the 140-inch, micro LED. Cosmo, I was at Valley Electronics having to put a credit card in to make a
Wait,
Roku
wait, no, no, no,
OLED work.
Cosmo, no, wait, Cosmo, you just joined us. So Brian had to put in his credit card just to activate the Sharp Roku OLED, and then after he puts in Robert's credit card, today we found out Roku had a
You gotta
data
breathe. You gotta
breach.
call them.
So now we have to call Robert. Robert, cancel that credit card.
Yeah, I would understand if Cosmo to put in a credit card for the 140 inch just in case it breaks its insurance. But in the UI, and that's the thing I'll say about the Sharp, it's so convoluted. I mean, the steps, I know why. It's almost like Tizen FOMO where we said that the elderly people love it. It's a button. What you watched before is right there. But if you get into just trying to find the inputs or the settings, I mean, it didn't even have. I didn't think there was presets at
Right.
first because there was no gear. I had to hit the star button, and all of a sudden there was the presets. It was really convoluted. But what are you gonna do?
Okay, so
What's up, Quack
I'm
Fu?
so tempted. Hey, Quack Fu, what did I miss? So I'm going to tell you the quick story, right?
Let's run it back.
Brian
Just for you.
reviews,
Just for you, we're
just for
running
you,
it back.
Quackfu. Brian reviews the Sharp Roku TV. I say Roku is dead to me because Roku is forcing you to accept their new terms of service so that you have to go to arbitration. If you don't accept the new terms of service, you cannot use your Roku TV, nor can you use your Roku streamer. And then Brian gets taken to the woodshed even further. He can't even use the TV without entering his credit card. Now,
That's not
Brian,
how
being
it
the
went.
smart,
That's not how it went. Cuomo said he loved Roku, right? It was
I
two
love
weeks ago.
Roku.
He was like, I love Roku. I said, I hate Roku. The remote I lost already. I stepped on it. It feels like a rubber stopper. Then and then I go and I try to turn on this Sharp that I've been wanting a video. I can't even get past the screen. It says activate your TV, use a credit card. Now we're sitting there with all the credit cards like we're in swingers trying to find out whose credit card to use. And I finally get through all that. I call this guy on the way home. He's like, Roku's dead to me. I said, why? You put your credit card in too? He's like, no, no, no. They did this, this, and that. So that's the story.
And then
That
just
must
now, 2 hours ago, Roku is reeling from a data
yeah.
breach that exposed user credentials. So now Brian has to text Robert, cancel that credit card. And that's where we are today.
Oh my God.
Oh, you can't make this
But I
stuff up.
think the initial conversation, though, I will ask you guys, anybody in the chat, how many do we have in the chat? I mean, 369. Please hit like, everyone. But the initial question is, what is a budget you are looking for? So realistically, how many of you are looking for a TV? Just start firing off to us. What's the budget you like? We did the poll, but I want to know what is acceptable to you. What are you thinking in regards to what you should spend? Right. So for me, FOMO with those little, what's the size that the small 1080p TVs? They're like $100 each. There's a Vizio, there's a
32
Hisense. The
inch?
ones you see. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
32
32
inch.
inch, 40 inch. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all about the same. But where are you guys drawing that? Or, do you look at something and say, look, obviously Cosmo is one of one with the micro LED, but I'm in the 4,000 and up. I want it to be premium. I want it to be the highest end. I'll always go with the top tier. I want that. All right, Dexter, 1,500 max. Now, do me a favor. Go 1,500 max and then tell me the size, please, because I would love to see
Yeah.
what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
What's up, Sony Pony?
Let me see here.
Yeah, Andrew said it in the 2010s. Bro, I remember.
Oh, no, I got to share this. So you think cash is going to help. So Sony Pony Steve, hey buddy, he goes to Lowe's. I went shopping at Lowe's, tried to use cash. They had to scan his ID because what? He's a risk for fake
They thought you
20s.
were
I
trying. They thought you
mean,
were trying to
he's at
put. Yeah,
risk
but
for
they
he's a
saw the
drug
powder on
dealer.
the money. Yeah,
It's like,
Sakiro. What is he doing? They're like checking a hologram. You had these poker chips from Live and Die in L.A.
but
Counterfeit. Right.
yeah. So just revisiting your budget, guys. $2,000 is the sweet spot, regardless, right? So I think you're going to get a very good TV for $2,000
So just give
now.
it context. Sony A90J at launch, 83 inches, $8,000. That wasn't 10 years ago,
A90J.
and now A90J Master Series, $10,000.
That
Sony
was
Z
three years ago, like 3.5 years
three
ago.
years ago. Sony Z9D, 75 inches, $9,000. Samsung QS9800 My TV, 78 inches, $12,000. That was 2016, 2017, guys. I mean, C7 77 inch, $15,000. You guys want a 70? You want an 83 inch Samsung for $1,500? And then you're like, I'll wait for it.
And
I'll
then
wait for it to
Getty,
drop a little bit
wait,
more.
wait, we got to give Getty a
Getty,
shout out. He got the Hisense U8K for 2,500, and his story is he was gonna get the Sony QD OLED, and he goes, "Wait a minute, for $4,000, I can get a 100-inch U8K, done." And then it drops in price, so he gets a adjustment 3,500, and then it drops again. He gets an adjustment. By the time Christmas is over, he's gotten so many adjustments, he's down to 2,500.
it's
And
free.
this is why OLED is having trouble. When you can get a mini LED flagship from Hisense, and he loves it, by the way. It's still working.
Yeah.
Congratulations. It's hard. This
What was
is
the
the
example?
new reality.
What was the example you gave the other day, FOMO, where somebody had it was either a U8K and then they went to a lower end. Was it an S5 or S4, and they liked that even better? What was
It was the
that
U. So
analogy?
he had the U8K, and then he went and got the U76. So the U8K is 3,000 to 4,000, depending on when you get it, however long it's
Clearly
available.
not whenever
And
Getty's rolling
then
the dice.
he paid, I think he paid 3,000, and he goes, wait a minute, it looks great, but I'm going to try out the U76N, which is Hisense's drop-down model. It is not mini LED. It has full array local dimming, so he gets the U76N. He goes, oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. Yeah, I know it's not quite as good as the U8K, but it's $1,000 cheaper. It looks good enough. So he paid 2,000 for the Hisense U76N, and that one is sold out, by the way. So it's $2,000 gets you a pretty good TV nowadays, and it's
Now let me ask
100
you.
inches.
So let me ask you guys this. This is probably the reverse of it. One of my favorite pieces of technology I have is an Optoma 3D projector, 1080p, $500. The image is 175. It was so cheap that it always makes me smile. Now, when you guys talk about TVs at that price range, Getty, you too, are you less picky with screen uniformity? Are you less? Are you looking at it as tight? Are you know what I mean? Say if you're spending a lot of money on an A95L or a G4 or whatever, you must really be pixel peeping. Do you bother doing that with TV that costs a couple $1,000s? I imagine you just put it up and. Do you see what I'm saying, FOMO? Are you as critical of a viewer if you have that budget? Because I would say probably not.
No,
But
I'm
I'm
not. I mean, okay, so when you throw on a gray screen, 5%, 10%, 15%, the gray screen that really exposes the dirty screen effect, it looks terrible. But when you're watching real content, unless it's really bad, you're not going to notice it.
terrible.
Or unless you know what you're looking for, right? So I don't think it's a big deal most of the time. Yes, there are situations where the DSC is terrible out of the box, and of course, return those. But more often than not, most people don't notice it. And you see it on the reviews, right? If it's really bad, they'll post pictures of it on Best Buy or Amazon. And I love seeing TVs where 1,000 people bought the TV and they get 4.7 scores. And most of the bad scores are because Best Buy didn't properly deliver it. Oh, he forgot to wipe his shoes. He left footprints all over my rug, right? That's when it gets a 1 star. But the TV itself is fine. And so you see that, you're like, wow, it's actually pretty good. I mean, if I put it through a gray screen test, it would fail. But these consumers love it. You know, they're watching YouTube, they're watching old TV shows, news. They don't care.
Yeah.
Hey, Myers, let's answer your question real quick. Should I get an 83-inch S90C or an 85-inch Q95C? They are both the same price for me. Where I watch movies, sometimes it's super bright and sometimes it's super dark. So it's both. Get the QN. Okay,
85C is awesome.
the
Q95C
85,
is awesome.
the 95C is a great TV.
It's a beast.
I think the super bright, the S90C might not be bright enough. I say get the S90C first. And if it's not bright enough, getting a slightly larger Q95C may solve your problem. But I really want you to enjoy OLED because 83-inch WOLED is such a jump over everything you have. And then if it's not bright enough, go to the Q95C. And it's slightly larger, right? And we got a bunch of super chats here. I'm so sorry, guys.
Here,
I,
Myers,
I get all excited talking. Go ahead.
I'll put Myers. I'll put look on my channel, please. I have the QN95C versus the S95C.
Oh, and just a reminder, the Q95C is only available, for many of you who are watching, don't know, they're only available as special installers and boutique dealers, custom installers. So you can't just buy it at Amazon, right? So the Q95C is not available everywhere at all retailers, whereas the 83-inch S90C is. So you might get better pricing on the 83-inch S90C. And if you go to Samsung, Myers, if you go to Samsung.com and you are a offer member like teacher.edu, first responder, military, government worker, or your company has a program with Samsung, you can get the 83-inch S90C for under $3,000. I'm talking like $2,500, $2,600. Just let them know in chat that, hey, someone else got this for $2,500. I'd like to get that deal. So now at $2,500, that's compelling. The 85-inch QN90C is about $2,000 now. So it's just something to keep in mind.
So Myers, I put a link in the description or a link in this one. Go check that out. That's the QN95C versus the S95C.
Thank you,
And
Brian.
it does hang in there pretty well. I like the QN95C a lot.
And DM is saying, this is racketeering, but government is useless. Apple TV. So thank you, DM, for that comment. So this is referring to Roku forcing us to accept their terms of service, or Roku forcing Brian to plug in his credit card before he can move forward, right?
It was such an annoyance because
I've never
we
seen
always
that
say
before.
that, we always said maybe we just skip it. And I'm telling you right now, when I go to do TVs at the store, when you say a Sony, Google TV, you power it on for the first time, we always let them power on phone. We let them update, but that step of downloading the apps takes forever.
Uh-huh.
It's just not efficient. And then me having to sign in to every app on a TV, then I forego that. I either put in an Apple TV or Fire Stick. I could not even do that here. That's tough. You can't even do that. So it's like you're telling me that, if nobody in the house has now everyone has a credit card now, phone, but really you're telling me that if I was dumbfounded.
You know what would be the most dystopian thing of all, Brian? When it says, we accept EBT cards. I mean, at that point, you just gotta shake your head, man. It's like
Exactly.
the man needs
We
to
take
buy
PayPal.
food. I know. It's like Roku's like, don't buy food, watch TV instead. We accept EBT cards. Like, no, come on. But I'm sure that's gonna happen because you could buy food, right? That's why they're gonna tell the government, hey, you know what? They could buy food on Roku TV. We want to be able to accept EBT card and deliver food to them. Hey, thank you for the super chat, Buddy Love.
What's up, buddy?
To comment on mobile devices. 3. Generation today has a short attention span. I could not agree more. 2, picture-in-picture on the devices kept them plugged in. Is PIP stand for picture-in-picture? Is that what I meant? On devices kept them plugged in. And 1, it's easier to move around while watching content because they forgot they can pause.
Oh, that's a good point.
I'm watching my son he's had an iPod, like second-gen iPod that almost looks like an iPhone. He got that when he was maybe 5 or 6, and he's been using just these little screens ever since he was age 6, whether it's watching something or listening to music or whatever. So he definitely is that generation that grew up on tablets and digital mobile devices. And we go to the movies together. So it's interesting. It's either we go to the movie theater or they're on the mobile devices. But I have like 3 TVs at home that none of them watch. I got a Q90R, I have a TCL, and I have my A95K, and they never watch TV. They're always on their mobile. Or we go to the movies. I take them out and we watch movies. But yeah, the whole attention span thing is definitely a thing.
Well, FOMO, I just literally hooked up my daughter's Nintendo Switch to the TV for the first time.
Oh,
She's had it for
oh, she plays
2 years.
it on the handheld.
She plays on a thing. I'm like, dude, why don't you sit downstairs with me? You know, we have the U8K still. We have a bunch of TVs, but I'm like, just try this one. And she sat down. She loves it, but she got so used to. It's not even like she can bring it anywhere. She's sitting on a couch using it. I'm like, you have a TV right in front of you. What a difference it
Yeah,
makes.
agreed. And what's happening here? Okay, so how Ecamm does it is everything is accessible. You don't get the
Lemon
images,
character,
but
baby lemon
I will
blowing
read
a.
the image. Thank you, John, for the super sticker. Lemon character and baby lemon blowing a party horn while marching. What I envision is probably so different than what it's
Do you
really
remember that
happening.
person I thought was calling me a plum? It was like a plum lifting
An
weights. I was like,
overweight,
wow, this
an
guy's saying,
overweight was an overweight
yeah,
plum
it's
lifting
an
weights.
overweight plum lifting weights. I'm like, what the? Like, no, it's a guy lifting. I'm like, oh, my bad.
It's like, how dare
Yeah.
you? How dare you?
How are you, John? Thank you.
All right. Give all those TV to your parents. I tried and got busted for it.
They don't
So,
get loud enough to watch
well, I
anything.
can see it now. You know how I said to everyone, buy a Roku TV for your grandparents? I can see phone calls. My grandparents are all yelling at me because they want their credit card.
Their credit card.
And so now, when you give them a TV, you have to give them a credit card too, right? It's horrible. Roku,
Unbelievable.
naughty.
Shame
Wait,
on
wait. Let me
you.
put on my gloves so there's contrast. Roku, this finger is for you. I'm very disappointed in you.
Thank you guys for being here tonight. I know that we've been doing so many discussion videos and streams. We haven't had any TVs yet, but the support from you guys has been amazing for these kinds
Oh,
of videos.
absolutely.
My videos, FOMOs. We really appreciate you guys watching. Please tune in tomorrow. I have that interview with Greg Lee from LG. That is big for both of our channels to have guys like Rob Brennan on, Greg from LG. I mean, this is our channels are getting some serious access, and a lot of that is due to you guys. But especially you guys watching videos like these and hanging out with us means a lot. It's never a waste of our time to hang out with you guys. We really appreciate it. And our year hasn't even started yet, FOMO. I mean, we haven't even seen the first
Mm-hmm.
TV yet.
Isn't it great?
Oh, it's gonna be
So,
on.
S89C 1800 was a great deal. I'm telling people, if you don't get it at 1800, it's going to disappear. Jared, if you can get it at 1700, dude, get it. I mean, uh, a lot of people, if you guys bought at Best Buy, and I'm sure you probably did because S89C is unique to Best Buy, get a price adjustment to 1700. That is such a good price. Definitely get it at 1700. It's not going to last, my friends. Not going to last. If it's on sale for 1700, definitely get it. It's amazing. Okay, Brian, between you and I, who do you think will be the first to get the new Walmart-owned Vizio TV?
I'm never getting that. Never,
I
never. I'm
almost want
busy.
to get it to see how dystopian it
Thank you,
is.
Stan.
Like, how many credit cards do I have to submit? Will they accept EBT cards? Because Walmart
What you gotta
accepts
do.
EBT cards, right? Oh, wait.
This is what you gotta do.
Walmart
This is
accepts
what
EBT cards. Now their
Hey,
TV
you
will.
just figured it. You gotta change the name of the stream. EBT. Um, if you do Walmart, what's it called? Walmart Vizio. I know you're not gonna do it in your studio. You're gonna do it outside. You won't let it in. It won't go on Wi-Fi. Nothing. Nope, that thing's not coming in here. I mean, it's crazy. Uh,
Do reviewers have the G4 already? And when is embargo up? So we'll start with the last question. When is the embargo up, Brian? You know? When are
tomorrow,
you able to talk about it?
tomorrow evening.
Tomorrow evening? All right. So Brian's going to talk about all the top secrets that are shared with him by LG by tomorrow. And as far as the G4, the answer is no. They will be shipping out after the 18th. I hope to get it by the 25th. But rumor has it I might not get it until April. So as
Yeah, I
soon as I
mean,
get it, I'll do a stream and we'll do a comparison with the A95L and the G3. So you'll get how
so yeah.
much better is it than the G3 and the A95L when I get it.
So what we understand is that warehouses that are waiting for them or distributors will have them, and then those go out to the stores. So when someone says, hey, it's available on the 18th, it's available to ship, not to you, but to the distributor. So that's a whole nother jump. Then the distributor has to then divvy it out to the different retailers and whoever is in that area. So last year I thought it was the same thing, FOMO. I kept thinking you and I were doing this at the end of March. It really was the beginning of April by the
It
time. I know
was.
I know the G3 was delayed
Yeah.
for Robert, but it should be there this year on time. But it'll still end up being April 1st or 2nd.
Yeah, I think so. And now, Getty
I
says
know,
never say
G
never,
man. I
Brian.
know.
So Brian says he's never going to review a Vizio, but we have to give it context. I remember three
Well,
years ago, maybe 2 years
Getty,
ago, Brian said that
we
he
have,
would never review a Hisense. Remember that?
yes, it
And now
wasn't
he's
that.
got
You're
three,
putting,
two or three.
tell the crew, no, and then now I'm the Hisense guy.
He's the
That's
Hisense
why I did
guy.
this. You guys go watch my show video. You guys watch that video because what's funny is after tomorrow I'm going to be the LG guy. I was just the Sony guy, and I'm going to be the Samsung guy. I was already the Vizio guy, G-Man. Before you got on YouTube, I did Vizio Quantum P series 5 years ago, 4 years ago, and I was getting killed. That TV died during the review. During the review. Yeah, Capono was with me. Capono, you remember? I was like 75 inch. I think it's pretty good, but it won't turn on. So I had a couple of those. They lost me forever. I mean, I really pulled for them for a long time. Pulling out of yeah, no thanks. I mean, and plus FOMO, forget about that. I think it was the whole data thing
Yeah.
where I couldn't even. So when I see a Vizio now, I went skiing a couple of years ago, and there was a Vizio there, and I was going to film it at the ski house that we rented, and I couldn't tell you what year it was. I couldn't tell you what model it was. It was so generically P series. No more Quantum X. No more. You looked it up, you couldn't tell which year the thing came out. Like I hate when they do stuff like that. So they're done, man. And Walmart, no thanks. Go buy some deodorant over there.
And Silent Chaos says he had the TVs side by side, S90C, S89C, both 77 inch. Can't tell the difference. And my response is, it's literally the same TV. That's why you can't tell the difference. The only difference is audio and the stand, but the actual panel and processor identical. So if they are different, it's panel lottery that they're different, but technically they are the same. And if you had them calibrated, they'd probably be indistinguishable. So do not fear, get the S89C if it's available. I mean, at 1,700, man, that's great. Really good price. And Matthew Isabel wants to let you know, Brian, the 75-inch U8K would be a decent review. Are you going to be reviewing any 75-inch TVs? Like, what sizes are you doing this year? So let's give our viewers, what sizes mostly, any exceptions? What TV sizes are you doing this year?
So of TVs that we could request, if TVs are being sent to us or anything like that, I don't know if I could request. I'll say it to you guys this way: there's certain TVs that I want at 100 or 98. There's TVs that I want at 85, 8K. As far as 75, as long as there's no delineation or change in panel, I'm okay with the smaller for us to review. To be honest, just for ease of comparison. But in the studio, there's obviously this is an 83 behind me. I have room to review the largest TVs available, but I'm probably looking mostly at 65 FOMO, 8K, 85, OLEDs. I'll do 55 as long as it
Yeah,
doesn't change much. How about you?
I will. Okay, so last year I made an exception and did a 77-inch only because Samsung leaked out the availability. It only came in a 77-inch size, so I jumped on it. So I'm stuck with a 77-inch S95C to review. This year, I will not do a 77. It'll be all 65 or 98 because I need to see those 98s up front. Now, unfortunately, I know you guys want to see them side by side. I don't know if I can do side by side 98-inch TVs this year. I mean, I have just enough space, but I need to carefully plan my wall mounts because my wall is exactly, I think, 40 40 or 14 feet across, something like that. And that's just barely enough to fit two 100-inch TVs side by side. I mean, I have a 100-inch drop-down screen. I know it'll fit, but it's just getting enough space to hang it, right? And then taking it off. I want more elbow room. So, but we'll definitely have a 98-inch TV review this year. And then hopefully next year I can make some changes and then we could have two side by side 98-inch TVs. But I mean, it's the future. What are you going to do, right? What are you going to do?
Yeah, I go back to that comment where FOMO was talking about the his wall mounts were only so big. Like, poor guy. I have to get new wall mounts. Well, you know what's funny? What about those wheelable wall mounts
Is
that
that
we
a humble
saw at?
brag? Did I just do a
Yeah,
humble brag?
that was humble.
I'm
Oh
so
my god, my
sorry.
wall! I can only fit like three of these.
Oh my God,
Um,
I'm so handsome it hurts.
so you know what's funny? So FOMO, I'll say this: I did a short on the X90L 97, 97, 98, 98, yeah, 98 versus the A95, the L55. It looked like
Yes,
like an iPad. But what's interesting is that when I first reviewed that TV, it was on one of the small Salamander
very
low
nice.
rising
Yeah,
ones.
yeah, yeah.
When I reviewed it on a regular table that most people have, that thing was 3 or 4 inches taller than me. It was
Oh
like
yeah,
six
it's
five, six
huge.
six, and but for some reason, that size really put it in perspective. That you walk by, the TV, that immersion was actually better than one I was taller than. So
So
it's a beast.
can we revisit that question, the age-old question? Larger
Immersion.
but less image quality, and I'm not saying bad, right? Just lesser image quality, but it's larger, or the ultimate image quality at 55 inch. I know it's extreme, but what are your thoughts on that? Because let's say, a lot of people are deciding between a 77-inch S89C, S89C, $1,800, 100-inch
Yeah.
U76N, 2,000. Let's just say for the sake of argument, it ends up dropping to 1,800.
I mean, all I can say is that I'm. This is what I bought.
The 83-inch
I have
A80L.
83-inch A80L, meaning I have the room, I have the budget. I can put other than Cosmo's budget. What's up, baby? Want to hang out?
Mr. Micro LED.
Cosmo. Apparently, we met each other. I should have robbed him. Um, I have the room for anything larger, and I still didn't buy it. It's not because it was more money than this. I just could not make that. Even from 83 to 85 FOMO, that included the X95L, the QN95C, the best LEDs in the business. So Z9K.
You still got to stick with OLED. You still got to do
I
OLED.
still got just that micro contrast. What's going to make me make the change is Sony's new prototype. If that is that good, the problem with
Yeah,
that is the gaming going to be on par.
yeah, I
So
gotcha.
I don't see them pulling me yet. So for me, that is the Cosmo's there. Cosmo, what's up, baby? You know what? Tell me, Cosmo. Apparently, I met him at the store, so he didn't let me know that
You,
you're
you know
that
what's
kind
going
of
to be funny
that kind of
is,
cat.
Cosmo is like an 18-year-old teen. Hey, Brian, I'm Cosmo. I'm like, oh my God. So you don't know who he or she is.
He parked his
She's
helicopter on top of the store.
trust baby, 18-year-old
Well,
female.
everybody introduces themselves at Value Electronics like, "Hey, I'm Frank. What's up, Frank?" And then they tell me years later, "Oh, I met you. What's your name?" "Well, I'm Cosmo on here. What's your name in the store?" "I can't tell you that." I'm out there just naked. Everybody sees me walk in, but I still chose an OLED. And what's funny is micro LED blew me away. I mean, but it's just you really need to have those LEDs a little bit better for me. For
Yeah.
me though, but I'm still that picture. And
And
maybe if gaming wasn't, hold on real quick.
maybe,
I think it's the
okay,
gaming. If the
the
gaming
gaming.
wasn't
Gotcha.
there, I probably would have gone over because the game modes on LEDs just isn't there yet for me.
I was gonna say maybe the Sony Mini LED 4000 nit, right? The XR90 or whatever it ends up being called. That flagship, if it ever hits 98 inch, maybe. I want to hit Lisa's question because this is a
Hi,
really good
Lisa.
question actually.
Oh,
If you review a 65-inch and a 98-inch TV, how will that extrapolate to in between size like 77 and 85? Doesn't the different panel size make a difference? So literally on paper it shouldn't. However, they use different number of dimming zone density. They use different panel technologies. So on some models, the larger panel, like on Samsung, the QN90C 85 inch is a VA panel, but on the smaller one, it's a ADS Pro panel, right? It's different enough that you cannot extrapolate, I think. But if you're just watching streaming and sports, then the extrapolation actually is close enough that you can. So it really depends on your content. If you are a cinema purist, I don't think you can extrapolate because there's enough differences in contrast and off-angle viewing between ADS Pro and VA that it cannot be done. So for me, my reviews, if I'm doing a 98-inch, has very little to do with extrapolating the smaller sizes, but rather how good is the 98-inch on its own as a 98-inch TV? Do I see blooming? Is it more visible, right? I wouldn't want you to extrapolate the U76N Hisense to a U7 series. Rather, if you're looking at a 98-inch TV, how does this compare to the TCL S5 or to Sony's X90L? So it has to be 98 to 98. So I wouldn't expect you guys to extrapolate it down because buying a 98-inch TV is its own thing. And 65-inch TVs, I feel comfortable extrapolating, especially among OLED, right? 55,
Yeah.
65, as long as it's within the same OLED technology. WOLED with WOLED, QD-OLED, and so forth. You can extrapolate sizes. But LCD TV, man, it's all over the place. Like we've seen the smaller sizes use BOE or TCL panels, and the larger sizes use the better AUO panel, and so it looks better, like Sony X95K 85-inch, a completely different TV than the one I was very disappointed with, the 65-inch X95K. So even during the 85 versus 65, I could not extrapolate, right? So just good question, Lisa. Thank you.
Well,
Brian,
and
do you
FOMO,
extrapolate sizes?
I do only in the sense that probably with LEDs that it just is the way light works. They're just brighter just by having more light. Not nits wise, but just screen space. It does create more light. So some people will say the larger sizes are light or brighter just because there's
Mm-hmm.
more screen size. So, but the
Yeah.
same can be said for pixel density, where a larger TV will, without a doubt, feel softer. Lisa, that is factual. That there's no debating that. Where a smaller TV, and that's why we say a little bit of caution, FOMO, from going from a 55-inch jumping to 100, is the image may appear soft, but I do think the immersion offsets that almost right away.
Yeah. No, I feel you. I love immersion. And speaking of immersion, I think I Am Blues and Blues Am I. I love these names.
Dr.
Has a great
Seuss, I love it.
question. So 83-inch G4, obviously very expensive, $6,500, right? A new year, brighter than ever at the 83-inch. Never been done before. Or two TVs, Brian, an equally bright mini LED. We all love the 85-inch Sony X95L with XR Clear, plus my editor's choice TV, 77-inch S89C, which is very similar to the S90C. Which would you go for? Now, I'm going to let you answer last. I'm going to say get the 85 and the 77 because because you're going to get two amazing
Great question.
TVs and you have the flexibility. And they will both look so good. And more importantly, if you are streaming and playing games, the G4 should look similar with minor differences in bright gaming. And we don't even know if the G4 SDR gaming is going to be brighter at all. We really don't know. But as far as movie and content watching, I can tell you right now, G4 X95L will look very similar. However, the G4 does have the infinite contrast advantage. But if you see it on the 77-inch S89C, it's going to look great. So, okay, I say go for option 2, 85-inch and 77-inch. Brian.
So that's a great question because I guess what you're saying is,
Same
have the
budget.
couch turned towards the movies, spin around, and there's the 77. I have to disagree.
Okay,
I go 80. I go 83 because I'm ending up with the brightest OLED of all time with the
ever.
micro contrast,
Right.
with
Brightest
the
and
better
largest. The largest
lightest
bright.
and
Oh,
largest, and the G4 has 144 hertz. That's going to work, and it's brighter than the S89 by a lot. It's going to be an absolute monster. New processor is going to look better than both of those TVs. The X95L is awesome, but it's still a mini LED. So I can't game on a 77, too small.
so let me add some detail to what you said. So the G4, for the first time for LG, has an AI processor that you can apply to streaming content. Before, you could only apply that to your own personal content. You could not
Yeah.
AI upscale, improve the image quality of copyright material. Whereas on the Sony, like the X95L with the XR Clear, you could make every streaming content look great with XR Clear. Now, the G4 allows you to do that with its new AR processor. So, all right. So, IM's blue. I don't know if we've helped you with that
So
decision,
I so
but
so I am's blue. I'll tell you this. the micro contrast of OLED to me is not just a gaming thing. I notice it on everything I watch. It's not just blooming because the X95L's got the best local dimming Sony has ever shown, at least until this year when it comes out. It's not just blooming, but the G4's processor with the gaming, and yes, Brad's laughing. 77 inch, it is too small. I've been gaming at
You
83 for
guys.
4 years.
Wait, can I just
Guys,
stop there? 2 years ago, 77-inch was too big. Everyone's, oh, it's too big.
too big.
Now we're like, oh,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
too
in that. See,
small.
I
Go,
just
go
got
98,
it.
baby.
You guys just got to the heavyweight division. I am in the heavyweight division. But I'll tell you, I'm Irish. So my skin is this dark because I'm too close to the TV. I'm not European.
It's
So I mean,
it's
I'm
not that,
literally
that
like
bit of
this.
Attila the Hun in you.
I'm literally, well, I mean, I'm telling you, I could never go because I thought about that with the S95C. And I even was going to see if I can get from Robert an S90 55 and game on that. I just can't, man. I'm all about that immersion and gaming, especially. So,
Agreed.
no. What's up, Ray?
And and just to let you know, don't feel FOMO for either direction. No matter what, you're literally getting best image quality experience. And the improvement of the
Yeah.
G4 over the other two TV, you may experience that improvement with the right content 1% of the time you're owning it. Just so you know. And if you are that
That's
1%,
true, man.
definitely you will enjoy it. Like for me, the only time I find that 1% is when I'm watching Spears and Munsell. That's the only time.
See,
Otherwise, I'm streaming Netflix. They all look the same on Netflix. So
now,
just
see,
just
I noticed
FYI.
it. Before we get into Ray, because Ray's got a good question. When I was at Roberts doing the A95L versus the X95L and the A95L versus my A80L, I thought it was night and day difference. But see, I'm jumping, guys, we're different. I'm jumping in and out of every preset. I'm not a filmmaker guy. I'm not just in custom. I push them. I want to see how different they can look. So I'll make that G3 look like a maniac. So I'm all about seeing the differences. What's up, Ray?
All right, Ray, you're up.
I got all
Thank you
kinds of
for your
energy tonight.
patience. I know. He has a 77-inch LG C10. Hey, that's one of the great TVs, and you paid a premium, my friend. I remember how much that cost. I watch
Yeah, I bought
TV
that
in a
one
dark
too.
room and barely go over 50 points in brightness. Okay, so he's trying to keep it in SDR. Gotcha. Should I even care about the brightness wars? Do I gain anything or see advantage in HDR viewing going to a new flagship OLED QD OLED? So, this is such a
You
good
need it.
question, Ray.
Gotta go get it.
First,
Wait, hold on.
one.
Before you go, you're gonna actually ask a guy named FOMO that question?
No, my
Oh
name
my
is it's
god!
stop the
You
FOMO.
got tech therapy over here, Ray. I'm your daddy, baby. I'll talk to you. His name is FOMO. It's not Stop the FOMO. We're changing it next year. Start the FOMO,
Start the
and then I'm
FOMO,
gonna do.
right?
Then I'm Brian's tech therapy. We're gonna feed each other. Buy from
Okay.
him, and then I'll talk you off the ledge.
So,
Anyway,
Ray,
my fire tonight.
if you're watching mostly SDR
Good lord.
content, so TV shows from the 80s, 90s, 2000, right? Just regular TV shows, SDR. HDR viewing, and so here it is. If you are actually watching real HDR, we're talking HDR content graded to be impactful, then the brighter QD OLED gives you that bright specular highlight at its fullest while preserving color. So we're talking QD OLED. QD OLED, last year's S95C or S90C, they preserve color at its brightest level relative to the darkest level in the same scene, and the C10 cannot do that. It will look flat as long as that scene requires it. So, Alita, right? Alita is graded very dim. We're talking 300 nits at most. The
Yeah.
C10 can handle Alita fine. You don't need anything special. So if you compare the C10 Alita against the S95C Alita, looks identical. And you'll be like, oh, I'm going to save money, keep my TV. But if you watch something that has more brighter specular highlights, let's say The Greatest Showman, brighter specular highlights in the hat and so forth, or Mad Max,
Terrible movie.
even brighter specular highlights with a bright average picture level, right? Then the G4 or the S95C, S95D will then take control of that brightness better, giving you brighter specular highlights in a bright scene. The question is, how often do you watch that content? Literally, that type of content, less than 10 movies. And most of them are bad movies that you're not going to watch. But if you watch Netflix streaming, even though it says Dolby Vision, HDR, it doesn't matter, they're going to look very similar. So as I say all the time, if you have a 77-inch LG C10 or C9 or C1 and it's working well, do not upgrade. It's not worth that extra pop. And there might be an extra pop, but the infinite contrast is the same. So if you're watching Friends, whatever TV show you want, more often than not, they look very similar. So I say, don't care about the brightness wars until there is a movie that's like, wow, this is a 4,000 nit movie graded on a 4,000 nit monitor, and Sony is identifying that movie as the poster child for 4,000 nit content. And if you like that movie and you want to see it as the creator intended, we'll talk. We're not there yet. So stop the FOMO. I'm actually stopping his FOMO right now.
I almost started.
Brian?
You need to throw that thing out the window.
I remember.
You gotta upgrade, baby.
Max Chandler threw his A90J out the window so he can get an S95B
Ray, you
QD-OLED.
gotta upgrade. I like the CX. I hated my CX, so I had a lot of problems with that. Oh, Capone was talking about the black crawl. It's not the brightest OLED. They did get brighter every year. I had the C1. I thought the C1 was better than the CX. C2 a little bit better. I would go, if you're going to upgrade, though, you have to go up in size. Going from a 77-inch to another 77-inch is hard, to FOMO's point. I think you'll notice a difference because the CX was different. The CX was coming off the C9. Capono had the C9. C9 was very poppy, very saturated, very colorful. The CX was a more accurate TV. Then they auto-corrected it, or they recorrected it. The C1 was a mixture between a C9 and, they kind of went back to that.
People complained it was dim. They even complained it was dim.
Yeah, the CX was a little bit... So, Ray, what I'm saying to you, the CX, I like the TV a lot. It was a little natural in comparison to the C1, C2, and even the C3. They just took a year where they went a little bit chill. Processing's great. They finally figured it out. But I would go up, man, because you're going to have TVs that are brighter. The games are brighter. I would go up.
Now, Brian, when you say go up in size, he'd have to go to the 83-inch G4 because the G3 is not necessarily brighter, right? It doesn't have MLA. It has to be the G4 83-inch.
Yeah, but I mean, the 83-inch C1 is brighter than the CX.
Okay.
I mean, they're noticeably brighter.
Well, it's larger.
The CX was
definitely larger. Yeah,
it's larger. But the CX, I mean, and I noticed that from the from the C1 to the C2, I noticed that brightness in APL. That little bit, I noticed it was a little bit cleaner. Processing's a little bit better. I would, Ray. Okay, Ray, I'm sorry. You said you're killing me. I would look at anything. Yeah, do it, babe. Do it.
It's only $6,500, my friend.
Oh yeah, come on, you're good, man. I mean, I'm saying, Ray, if you're watching channels like ours and you're putting us a super chat, I think you got to upgrade because you have
as perspective, Ray. How much did you pay for your 77-inch C10? How much did you pay for that?
Like
I'm curious.
$5,000. They were like $4,000.
Would it have been $5,000 back then? $4,000? Yeah.
Probably $5,000. I think so.
Let us know.
I mean, Ray, it's a beautiful TV. It's a beautiful TV.
It is.
But I'm saying, if you're hanging out with us, 5,000, right? I was on it. Ray, if you're hanging out with us, between us, I go with a new one.
Go bigger.
I'm saying, and if you want to stay with the C series, I'm not saying jump G3. I think if you want to stay with the C series.
Well, you know what? If it goes bigger,
$6,000.
get the A80L for $4,300. I think the Sony A80L. I mean, I don't know if he has any loyalty to LG, but the A80L has the XR clear, and it's technically in real content slightly brighter, very slightly than the C3. A80L. So go with the A80L.
Yeah, and the A80L you would enjoy the upscaling of the XR clear. We talk about it all the time, and it is brighter. The A80J wasn't that bright either, FOMO.
No.
But the G4 is going to be a monster. But if you spend $5,000, then I would spend $6,000 on an 83-inch G4.
Yep.
Because now I'm an LG guy for today.
Yeah.
Until next week. Next week it might be somebody else, FOMO, when we travel.
Maybe Samsung. You're going back to Samsung.
FOMO and I are hanging out. We already did that. Me and FOMO hanging out next week.
Lisa, thank you for that. Great super chat from you. Thanks for answering my question. Immeasurable to make that a super chat. Yeah, well, that's what we do, my friend. That's what we do.
Lisa, how are you?
Good follow-up. Manufacturer's warranty, reliable. So first of all, most manufacturer warranties are 1 year anyway. So you might as well go back to the retailer like Best Buy. So I like buying from Best Buy. If you're a member, like many of us are, because we buy a lot of junk there, then you get 2 years. If you are like a Total Tech member, I think they have the premium level, whatever it is. I lose track of what they call it. Now, the actual manufacturer warranty itself. So every manufacturer has a reputation. LG's reputation is probably the highest. It's right up there with Sony. So LG and Sony have good reputations for manufacturer's warranty as it comes to customer service. Now you're going to get anecdotes where they treated them badly, but it just feels like Samsung has more of those anecdotes, and then Hisense and TCL even more of those anecdotes,
Please
right?
question.
Now the G4, you get a 5-year panel replacement policy for burn-in, just the actual hardware itself that's damaged. You pay for labor, but 5 years is unheard of, right? No other TV manufacturer offers anything more than a year. So that's the premium you're paying for it as far as the 6500 is. The G4 has the 5-year panel replacement, and because they're pushing it harder this year with the MLA and the extra brightness, I think it's good. Now, will you get a claim denial? It is unlikely because the G4 is their flagship, but it depends on why you're claiming. If it's obvious burn-in, you should be okay. If it's outright failure, you should be okay. Now, others have had issues with the G3 at the 83-inch size. They had the power board fail, and I think they were in Texas. And in Texas, LG did not have replacements available, and so I think they ended up not replacing it and just taking it away and giving him money or something like that. So they will still do what they can, but depending on where you're located, it may not be repairable. You may end up just getting a TV replacement, so that's good too. But generally speaking, warranties, I like LG and Sony. Brian, what is your experience with manufacturer warranties as far as all the brands, if you have any experience?
Oh, Samsung was the worst. They were like, I was like, hey, my TV was like 12 grand. They're like, okay. They gave me no extra. There was no
Anything?
love.
No
You
love.
know what I
No
mean?
love.
Nope. They're like, sorry. Sony is good. They were good at the time. LG, I have not dealt with, but LG has the 5-year for what's it called? 5-year for the G series. As far as dealing with the manufacturer, it's hard. That's why we always say, like, even the Costco gives you that extra little bit of love.
Yes,
But
Costco.
it's a
That's
toss
a
up.
great
I think
place.
that's
Yeah.
probably the problem with Hisense and TCL right now is I think that's where they really lack. At least I've heard
I'll
that
give
from
you
them.
my Hisense experience. It's on YouTube, right? So my first year reviewing TVs, I had the Hisense H9F, and it developed this dirty screen splotch, and I had it replaced, and they didn't know I was a YouTuber, right? So I just started, and they sent someone out with a hammer, broke the TV so that it could be officially broken. They literally took a hammer to it. He goes, okay, I got to break
Yeah,
it
you
now.
doing?
He just slams the hammer on it, takes it away, and I got a replacement. And that's how Hisense dealt with it. They didn't even bother fixing it. They just sent me a new TV. And again, they didn't know I was a YouTuber at the time, right? It was my first Hisense review. And so I shared my experience on YouTube. So if you guys go back in the past, I like 2020, 2019, you'll see that video. So they treated me well, but that wasn't the case for everyone, obviously. So most people, they treated well, while others felt like they got the runaround. But again, Sony and LG have been accused of the same. So if you go on Reddit or AVS forum, you can see people sharing their pain. And all you could do is get an extended warranty. So Brian and I, we both encourage you, if you're buying an expensive TV, anything over $1,000, get an extended warranty if it's only like 80 bucks. It's worth that extra
Yep.
$100 for peace of mind. And then you have someone to yell and scream and sue, but get the extended warranty. Always worth it,
Do
in
you
my
remember,
opinion.
Fumo, do you remember when those extended warranties used to be a percentage of the TV?
Yes, I
It
remember.
was like,
Best Buy. It
so,
was used to,
yeah,
it was Best
Best
Buy.
Buy. So you're like, oh, cool. My TV is 4 grand, but then the warranty is 1,200. That would
Like
be perfect.
what? I mean, now it's
Getting a
kind of
smaller
like
TV
if
with the, yeah.
yeah, not anymore, fortunately. So, well, first of all, Costco. If you're a Costco member, buy a TV from Costco, right? If your
Get
TV is
some
not available at
ribs.
Costco and it's only available in Best Buy, be a member, pay whatever it is. Over the course of 2 years, it's included. You could and I've used that replacement warranty all the time
Right.
for everything, right?
Right.
You get 90
I,
days to return. I love the 90-day return period.
yeah.
And if it's during the holidays, it's even longer. And
Yeah.
then, well, they may have changed it, maybe 60 days, but somewhere between 60 and 90 days, you get a
It's
no
90.
questions
Yeah,
asked
it's
return
awesome.
policy. And you could also
No
buy an
box,
extended
no
warranty.
nothing.
Yeah.
No box, nothing. But you know what's also though, guys? If you're talking about Target, Walmart, they're 15 days.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
unless
Yeah.
you, if they're fifth, unless you might have to have their credit card, but it's terrible. I think PC Richard's really hard with that. They don't even give you money back. I think it's a credit thing, so they don't. Like sorry, buy something else in the store.
Yep.
Popcorn machine,
Pick whatever
mattress.
you want.
Yeah.
This is a great question, Brian. Lewis asked, Would you guys recommend the 98-inch Sony X90L or the 98-inch TCL QM8? So I can tell you off the bat, the QM8 is going to have slightly better contrast, more black, deeper blacks, black crushing arguably. It has more dimming zones. However, Sony's processing XR Clear is on the 98-inch X90L. Both will be similar in brightness, except the TCL will have that deeper blacks with the black bars and so forth. Now, I normally recommend, because at this price, if they're within a few $100s of each other, get the Sony. I think you'll find the Sony X90L image quality to be good enough. The reason why I want to stay away from TCL is that's a premium you're paying for the QM8. Now, if the QM8 is half the price, like
Yeah.
the U8K, right? We're talking 3,000, 2,500, 4,000. Go for it, because the 98-inch X90L is like 6,000, 7,000, right? I mean, that's a lot of money, being twice as expensive. But if they're similar price within 1,000, I'd go with the Sony. Peace of mind at this size. I want that Sony processing, because you're going to notice everything. You're going to notice the bad motion. Sony has better motion. When it's larger and brighter, everything stands out a little bit more. And so, and I know that Sony's anti-glare is better. The QM8, I haven't seen the QM8 at the 98-inch, but at the 65-inch, the anti-glare was not good. At M-Wave, Brian and I saw ourselves walking back and forth. We had to turn the lights off. So these are the little things,
Oh
right?
my God, it's on my pants.
Where, you know, there's a cost. Now, I don't know if the 98-inch has better anti-glare this year, but the 65-inch 65-inch QM8 last year did not have it, or it wasn't very good. So just hopefully that helps you, Luis. What are your thoughts, Brian? Sony versus
Um,
TCL.
I like the QM8 image better, only because I like that more bright, better blacks. But to your point, when you get to that larger size, TCL's reliability and pricing processing is still lacking. So as my everyday driver, the X90L is just a better all around in terms of, again, that what we're doing, we're streaming, and there's still emotion. So I would say that's a good call.
Yeah,
The QM8 to me is more pleasing, um, but it's just it's not pleasing with everything. I think the processing, we really want to see FOMO this year. Hisense and TCL to be step that up,
yeah.
because as we always said, in 4K they're all awesome. But let's see how it does with 1080p upscaling.
Here's a question that is near and dear to my heart. Great question, Jershawn. Jershawn, is there any TV brand or operating system that respects your privacy, does not track one's usage or data? I believe Google TV is the worst in this regard. So let's list them, right? So you have Google TV, you just named. Roku, we now know is terrible. Roku just dropped off of my list and possibly could be worse than Google, could be. Then you have Fire TV, that's owned by Amazon, definitely not better. Then now you have Walmart TV, which is Chromecast, or not Chromecast, SmartCast Vizio, right? So Walmart's taking over SmartCast
I got a
Vizio.
free
So we
phone
don't.
with mine. Remember that Vizio had a free phone with it? It came with a tablet.
I came with a
That was
tablet.
awesome. It did.
I'm
It came
sure
with
it
it
was.
came with a phone. It did. It came with a phone as a remote. Remember that? You don't remember that?
I don't remember that. That's
All right.
crazy.
That was awesome. Go
Uh,
ahead.
WebOS from LG and Tizen from Samsung. They all track you to a certain degree. Now, if you unplug it, you're good to go. So let's talk about this. All your TVs, other than Roku, I'm going to put Roku aside because I don't think Roku is letting you do this anymore. If you watch your TV unplugged and use a streaming device like Chromecast, which we're back to Google TV again, but you have to use an external streamer like Apple TV. So let's use Apple TV, right? Apple TV is not the greatest either. I understand Apple is also in the data collection business. But if you use Apple TV as your streamer, Apple plugged into a TV, then you don't have to worry about the TV's operating system. Tizen and LG WebOS, currently they're okay, but they will track you because they're making money off of that tracking as well. They're delivering ads. Any TV that wants to stay in business is in the data collection business. That's just the reality of today. The question is, how do you deal with that, right? So I cannot recommend any operating system right now because things are changing so fast. Literally last week I was recommending Roku to my grandparents. Now
Yes.
Roku is collecting credit cards, getting data breached, and kicking you out if you try to circumvent their terms of service. So they're no longer on my list. I can't even keep up with any of these recommendations anymore. I'm very disappointed in all of them.
Yeah, I just stay with Apple TV or Fire Stick, and I just carry them around with me. If I'm
And
a
listen, Lisa
Samsung fan,
likes it so much,
I'm not
she's
updating
gonna
it.
get a second one. Lisa likes it so much.
Oh, they're awesome.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I mean, but Apple ecosystem. But just so you all know, Apple isn't necessarily consumer friendly, but given the choices right now, they're probably the best. However, we reserve the right to change our minds as we've seen it happen.
Yeah, no doubt.
Brian and FOMO are being tracked at this very moment. Name the country. I'm sure.
Yeah, we're tracking me. You're like, oh, Five Guys? You want to Five Guys getting burgers again? It's not very exciting.
Yeah.
It's like FOMO and I at CES. Everyone's like, "Did you guys party?" I'm like, "Yeah, I partied. We shot this, we filmed this, we edited this, we ate, went to the gym, shot this,
We,
filmed this. It was no party."
oh, wait, here's a good solution. What about using a console to stream? So your console is your operating system. Ah, you know what? Well, that might be a way to go. Xbox, PlayStation, what do you think? I've never tried it. Brian, would that be an option?
I have not used the console to stream. I think since Xbox introduced Netflix, so you can, I guess. I still want to walk around with the controller and be like BA star X. You can though. They all have. That's why there's that redundancy, right? FOMO. Everything you have has that.
Yeah,
Except I would not use a Panasonic Blu-ray player as a streaming device. That's the worst. You ever tried doing like
yeah.
Netflix off your Panasonic? Oh man,
And
I got
and
the kids
Commandant
there.
Clink, you're probably not wrong. 2 weeks from now, FOMO will say Apple TV sucks, and not Apple TV specifically, just Apple in general. I see what they're trying to do. They are looking for innovative ways to make more money. Once they exhaust all of their failures, meaning all these crazy ideas that are not panning out, like they spent 8 billion, 10 billion on the autonomous car project that they just canceled, right? That's 10 billion down the drain that they could have used to make a micro LED TV cheaper. I mean, there's so many things they could have spent it on, but it's gone. So now they're like, okay, how else are we going to make money? Apple TV sooner or later will be very similar to everyone else because everyone in the industry knows the same thing. Ads are huge. Like Google, what most of its money is on ads. Why is YouTube profitable? Ads, right? Ad click. All of that is very popular. Well, it's not just popular, it sustains Google, period. And Apple sees that and they're like, you know what? After everyone buys an iPhone, what next? Well, what next is
Yeah.
ads. So
Well,
yeah.
Vizio really proved that, right? I mean, no new devices, and they were killing it. And no new TVs. Like, okay,
Yeah, well, Vizio, you guys might not remember, but Vizio makes more money off of its SmartCast partnerships and advertising than they do selling TVs. So they sell their TVs cheap, margins, whatever, they don't care. It's all in the SmartCast. So if you look at their earnings on revenues from ads are just flying through the roof, which is why Walmart acquired them. And everyone sees this and they're trying to get in on the same game. So. Hey, Mad Pistol, yes, but Apple does streaming and they make money every device sold. So, Apple streaming is losing a lot of money. I just Let's just put that out there. Disney streaming losing a lot of money.
yeah, they're getting
They
killed.
need to stream because they want to get people on board. The reality is Apple's revenue growth, they are not a technology company. They are now growing more like ExxonMobil, right? Cash strong, but their growth is similar to growth of a GDP first world country. As a country grows, Apple grows with them. As a country shrinks, because not enough people are buying iPhones, Apple will shrink with them. Apple is not growing as quickly as Facebook, TikTok, Google. Facebook and Google and even Netflix, their growth rate is greater than Apple. Now, Apple's huge. You can't expect a huge company to grow like that anymore, but they have
Yeah.
nothing in the pipeline that will give them that growth anymore. So they are not hurting for money. I'm not saying they're hurting for money. What they are hurting for is they need to justify higher stock prices. Unless they have growth in their roadmap, their stock price will not grow. If anything, it will start to decline so that the PE ratio matches what they really are. Cash strong, safe, secure, but not growth. So they're going to get kicked out of the growth fund and be put in a quote unquote safety fund, right, where it's just about dividends. Now, IBM, not a growth company either. So Apple needs, I mean, they're used to growth. They're so used to selling all these Apple Watches, all these phones, but at some point, they have to find growth area elsewhere.
It's true.
Yep. So, hey, how much longer do I have you, Brian? We're just over 2 hours.
Yeah, I should probably get going. I gotta get the kids some food
Yeah,
at
you
some
gonna
point.
go to Chinese, Korean, or Mexican today?
Got big. I like a Korean barbecue looking pretty good, but I don't know. We got
I'm a
some
big
trips
fan.
coming up, so we have to be careful. We got some.
Yep.
Oh, I got big stuff coming up.
Okay, so Brian, tell us what's happening next week or this week, and I'll show what's happening, and then we
Yeah,
say our goodbyes.
so I have great interview with Greg Lee from Sharp from Apple. I'm all over the place. Redo it. So I have LG's Greg Lee tomorrow, which is great for the channels. We've seen me with Rob Brennan. Having that kind of access to these companies, especially someone like Greg Lee, he was awesome. We
Yes.
did about an hour interview. Please join me for that tomorrow. Fomo and I are traveling as well next week.
To
We're doing
another
some
secret location that we cannot share, but
another.
we will
So
tell
we
you.
have access.
We will tell you if we have poisoned teriyaki chicken. I will.
Yeah.
Brian
So
will be the first to tell you.
we're traveling again. I have Sharp this weekend. I have an opportunity to film some stuff tomorrow that I may have to push the Sharp back. The Sharp video is done, but this interview is more important because it is about LG, their whole lineup. Some
Yep.
things you might not know. And having somebody like Greg and LG, the way we have talked to Rob, it's going to give me a lot more access to be able to bring you new models that come out, like we did with the A75L from Sony. So it's great to have that kind of access for both FOMO and I. And so that'll be me. So check out that interview tomorrow. It'll be 6 o'clock. And then we'll have Sharp this weekend if I don't film something in the next couple of days. And then FOMO and I are traveling. So what do you got,
Yep.
FOMO?
Well, before I tell you what I got, Getty snuck in a super chat. Before we get, thank you for that, Getty. Brian, which TV brands will land in the U.S. stores first? So it looks like prediction. It looks like the LG will hit the U.S. stores first. It looks like I'll
Mhm.
get the G4 as my first TV for review. I'm hoping to get it before April, but it may be
Yeah.
just after April. So prediction LG, Samsung's going to be very close, right behind with their S95, S90 series. And then Sony a bit later. Hisense probably beginning of summer. TCL similar to Hisense, but I think
Yep.
LG G4, C4 is going to hit the market early April. Samsung right there, like maybe a week after.
Yeah,
So
they're
we'll
two
see.
days.
We'll see how close we are.
Yeah,
And
LG will be
yeah.
first.
And Brian, avoid the teriyaki chicken as long as you don't eat at Hojo's. Howard Jones. Is that where Caleb went? He went to Hojo's,
It's
got
like,
teriyaki
wait,
chicken.
Caleb got that 7-Eleven sushi. Those hot dogs look pretty good. Who eats
Oh,
those? I don't know.
wait,
He
wait,
got
wait, wait.
sushi.
I was traveling from California to Vegas. I stopped at this one of those truck stops in the middle of the desert, and they had sushi. And I'm thinking, this
Where's
is
that guy? Where's the guy? Where's the guy? He's not in the
there
back.
is no
I'll tell you
lake, there is no fresh fish. How did this sushi get here? And then they have the date,
that.
eat in like best consumed by. I'm like, man, I don't know. I mean, a truck stop in the middle of the desert selling like poke tuna, right? Raw tuna. And I was thinking, so now just thinking of Caleb, I'm thinking, Caleb's got to avoid the truck stop sushi. But it turned out he ate teriyaki chicken at Hojo's, which is even worse because that looks safe.
That was so funny because we're told specifically we can't say where we are, and then he says exactly where he is, and then his video is not even about where he was. He's like, "Yeah, I don't feel good." It's like, Caleb, man, come on, man.
And
He got room service teriyaki chicken. Unless he's in
I,
Japan. I mean, like,
oh, I'm so
usually you get a
sorry,
burger
Caleb.
from room service.
We love you. That's too funny. Okay, guys. So yeah, what am I doing? I am. I'm gonna put up Well, my original FOMO show this week was talking about prices, micro LED, OLED, and I was gonna touch on Roku. But now I think the focus will be on Roku as a message directly to Roku. I think this is more of a PSA public service announcement for you guys. Hopefully, it affects their sales enough that they take a step back. Now, they are trying to be the first to do these crazy things. And I think it's unacceptable that they required a credit card before to even move further. So, I might have to bring you back on, Brian, just for that video to tell your story, because I don't have a Roku TV anymore. Actually, I take it back. So my parents, in this studio, right? My in-laws have a Roku TV 6 series from 3 years ago, the last 6 series before they went to mini LED. It's Roku. And I'm waiting for them to trigger that button where it says, enter your credit card. So I guess I could do that at some point where, oh, this 4-year-old Roku TV is demanding a credit card. But yes. And so
Dude, I'm loving this black
your data
backdrop.
is indeed, Compono, your data is worth millions. And just before we go, we need to blockchain our data so we can sell ourselves. When blockchain started, my first idea was we have to create a individual blockchain system that's anonymized. But if anyone wants to buy our data, it's on our blockchain. Just here's my blockchain, give me some Bitcoin, get whatever you want. You got my DNA, you got my age, whatever it is. But each bit of blockchain is more money. If you want access to my DNA to see, let's say I am Tom Brady, and you want to see how my DNA works so that you can clone a better quarterback, hey, it's in my blockchain. Do your research. I got my DNA in there. I got my everything I do is on my blockchain, whether it's Taylor Swift or Tom Brady, and then you can go put on auction, but at least you're getting paid for it, right? Hey, I'm homeless. I am like the 90-year-old homeless person. How did I survive? It's all on my blockchain, baby. My diet, everything, right? So if we could blockchain our personal data, at least we can track and get paid. If I'm going to be tracked, let's make it official and put it all on blockchain. So unfortunately,
So at the end of this stream, when this guy said he worked for an AI company in the beginning, now you know how it rolls. He's like, tell you what, let's
I'll tell
blockchain
you
it.
what.
I'm here from the future. Let's
Yep,
do it.
that is the future. If we can
Oh,
get
you want to give me
individual
my
blockchain
DNA? Sure.
right here,
Oh, Mom.
it's in this mystery USB right here. All right, guys. Thank you, Capono, for that comment. And thank you, Lisa, for being here. Gotta run. We gotta run too. Until
Man, love you
next time,
guys.
my
Tune in
friends.
tomorrow to Brian's Tech Therapy. Check out LG's
Yes.
interview. Love you guys. Have a great night.
Don't forget to click like and subscribe for Brian.
Yep, please
Bye
do.
bye.